One.
So we live, Damo?
We are now live.
Are you sure we're live? Yeah,
Wait,
second.
shit!
Second time doing it. All right. Well, tonight though, it's episode 56, right?
Yeah, 56.
56.
56.
So
big even number.
got Blake McDonald on, Mr. Boston Switch, Mr. Margaret River Pro. So cool. So, like, I always do this every episode. I'm gonna try and change it up a little bit, but like, how did you fall? I always say it. Like, how did you get into the music industry? How did you DJ, music production, play it all over the place? You know, all around Australia and the world and stuff like that. Like, where did it begin?
It started out for me. I actually had no interest in electronic music or DJing or anything. I was like full Jack Johnson fan. Like,
Yeah.
obviously with like the surfing kind of growing up around that. And, but one of my mates, like my really good mates, grew up surfing with him, Jamie Lumsdane. When he moved down to Margs, we'd always just go on little surf trips together. And every time we'd go in the car, he'd always put on Ministry sound CDs.
Oh yeah,
and
of course.
He just literally just played it enough times to when I eventually just like had to like it because he put it in my put it in the car enough, and that kind of like opened my mind a little bit. I was like, oh, this stuff's pretty cool. And then he just kept talking about DJing and buying decks, and just kind of rubbed off on me. And I just ended up buying some for fun, but never had any interest of doing anything serious with it.
What decks did you buy? Like, what was your very first equipment?
Serato NS7.
NS7.
And they're
Can you
like-
Google them, Jamie?
They had like motorized platters. So
Oh, they're
like,
those ones. They're the
they
big
spin,
ones.
yeah.
I want to have a look at that because our TV's not working, so we can't actually. So Serato NS7.
NS7, yeah. And they were pretty cool. It was meant to have like a vinyl feel. And
And they're like black and red or something, can't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
They're heavy. They're super heavy.
Yeah, that's it. Like they're it's a big thing.
Yeah.
But then like with the motorized, like did you learn to like vinyl kind of
Not
thing?
really. I think it was just like the novelty of it. And I just liked it. But,
Yeah.
And I didn't know what. I just went and bought some. And then I entered the Limelight competition and I recorded a
That's
mix.
forever ago. Like
Yeah.
Limelight. Are they still doing it? Do you know? Or?
Nah. I think they finished out when Stereosonic wrapped up.
Yeah,
but-
that's what I thought. Like forever ago, kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
So I think it was 2011 was my first one, and I recorded this mix like 500 times.
Really?
Like I just sat there in my room, just kept waiting till it was perfect, and then sent this mix in, and I got into the comp, and then but realized that like it took me 500 goes to get this mix right. That when I had to do it live once, I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't even beat match.
CDJs to the NS7. Right?
I think I brought my own decks.
Oh
as
really?
well. So I
you
was
brought
like,
the NS7 like plonk.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow.
And so, did I bring NS7, or I think I eventually got over to like the time-coded Serato. With,
Okay.
Like you'd plug them in the back of the CDJs.
All right.
So you'd have to be like leaning over someone, like pulling out RCA cables and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a nightmare.
One of those guys.
Yeah. And
I'm
then
the same though, so it's fine.
I remember getting to the point where I had a few like computer problems. I was just like, okay, I have to get rid of this, you know.
Yeah,
So-
USB the way to go.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. But I literally went to this comp. I was the worst person in there. Couldn't even beat match. Pretty much like everyone just stood there, just like staring at me, like, "What are you doing?" And I had no idea. But
Well, like you were having a good time though, right?
I knew I sucked, but I was like, "This is such an amazing feeling." Like playing on like a big sound system. It was actually at Metro Frio, the first one.
No shit.
And it was like the best feeling ever. And I was just like, man, I have to do this again. So kind of went out and started hunting gigs and chasing them. And then I went back to Limelight again the next year. And I got knocked in my heat, but I had like epic crowd reaction. Like my mate pulled me in off the front of stage and made me crowd surf.
Really?
And like, yeah. It was
And what?
wild.
This was at Metro's Frio again.
This
Like
second one was at Villa. Was it called Villa then though?
yeah, like a few name changes here and there and stuff like that.
I'm trying to think. Was it Villa? 'Cause they did one at Parker, but I don't think I was in that one. That was
Yeah, that
Jack
became-
Rabbit's.
yeah.
But I think the second one I went to was Villa, and I got knocked, but like a few of the judges were like, that was like good set, and they'll like get rid of the laptop and get on USBs, and he'll get a lot more gigs.
But still, like, just get like dragged from behind the DJ booth. It's like, all right, you're going crowd surfing.
I kind of came up to the front, and one of my mates just grabbed me and pulled me in, and they kind of crowd surfing.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Though. I've never crowd surfed before, but it looks like so much fun. Honestly,
I used to do it heaps when I was younger, and now I don't know if I'm getting
yeah, he's
softer or smarter, or
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But I used to like try and rev it up every show, but then yeah, it's kind of scary. You don't want to fail, hey?
Yeah, that's
I
it. Or
actually-
even fall through the
Yeah.
crowd or anything.
I actually remember an amazing I know I was speaking to Shannon as well. So Shan said you guys were talking to him. He might come on as
Shout
well.
out to Shan.
Yeah. So he actually, I remember an amazing time when we were going to like talking about going to overseas and Greece and stuff. Shannon and I were doing a toga party tour before we went to Greece. And at Newport, Shannon went to go crowd surf and he ran so hard at the crowd. He didn't jump up and land on them. He literally jumped and then just like, but he went through them, but he rolled over the top of the whole mosh pit and fell off the back of the mosh. Wow. It was amazing.
Did he hurt himself?
No, he fully kind of landed it. It looked like a stunt, hey? But,
like in a full toga, like he's just in his undies kind of thing.
In a toga and just went like rolled across the whole front of like about like a 8-person kind of like mosh pit. And they all had their hands up and kind of rolled over him.
That's so good.
Yeah, when he comes on, you have to ask him about.
Yeah, well, we've already had him on, but when I get him back on, I'll definitely ask him about that. Yeah. So then with that, like, after you like limelight at like Villa and also like Metro's Free, where else did you go from there? Like, what were your first couple of gigs? And did you make it through that? Because you said like with the one at Villa, did you win to an extent?
No, so I got knocked first heat in that one, but I got good feedback. So it was like, okay, I've progressed from last year, which is a good sign,
Yeah.
And then I remember like no one getting me gigs. Like I remember like begging. I'd play for free if someone would let me play in a club, but I just couldn't get a gig and just couldn't get my foot in the door. And kind of had this little this idea. Like I remember going up and I played this house party in Margaret River actually with a drummer, LC Drums, and I actually played a festival with him as well. He was like been in heaps of bands and he was a bit older than me as well, so he knew everyone and everyone respected him in like Margaret River and stuff like that. And he said to me, he's just like, hey dude, if you want to come play like my girlfriend's house party, he's like, come play for free, but if you crush it, I'll introduce you to Frankie Button, who's my manager now. He was doing like Stafford Brothers and Pop Bellies and everyone up in Karratha and everything like
really?
that.
Okay.
And so I remember like I heard about him and I knew who he was and I was like, okay, I need to get in with this guy. Like I really want to play events for him, stuff like that. And he's doing so much cool stuff. And then so my friend Lee, he was like, come prove to me where you're at. And he like got the whole town revved up. He's like, this guy's going to crush it. He's going to be sick. So then I got to play this party and it went off. And
that's awesome.
He put in a good word with me for everyone. It was kind of like an older crew. Like I was like probably 20 sort of thing. So it was sick. Once I kind of like proved myself to them, it was like kind of I had something, And then he introduced me to my manager Frankie on Sam Jordan and we started going to the studio. He had this studio up in Osborne Park and we'd go there every Tuesday and like a bunch of DJs would go there and we'd just talk about like what gigs we want, how we're going to get them, what kind of things we're doing. And I remember I had to write my goals on like a big whiteboard and I remember like saying to him, I was like, oh, my dream's to play like one festival in my lifetime and that would just be like incredible.
But now you've done multiple festivals, right?
Well, he said, he's like, you got to write it down. And then I wrote it down. I was so scared, man. I was like, I didn't want other DJs to come in and see it and laugh at me and like, just think like I'm not going to get a festival.
No, I get you. It's the anxiety and stuff like that behind it. Yeah,
and just like, you just think it's just unachievable, But then he said, write it down and like try and make it happen, like see what we can do. And then he'd always played the Coconut Club at Southbound as well, like and then literally like the first time I wrote it down, then within that first year I got like 5 festivals. So I couldn't believe it. Like it's just
it's like you write it, it's like, oh shit, I'm never gonna do this. Like bam,
people laugh at me, and then like times 5 it, but I did it in a tricky way. So I went to Southbound. I remember like going to like all the crew sunset events and I was just like, oh, I really want to play Southbound. And they're kind of like, cool. Like, so does everyone.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Everyone else and wants to, but.
And then I was just like, what can I do like to help you guys? Like I was like, they're like, nothing, like we're busy. And I was just like, those posters. I was like, I'll grab those posters. I'll go put them up like all over like down south and stuff. And they were like, that's actually really helpful. So then I just went and put posters up for them. And then I come back. I was like, oh, what else can I do now? And they're like, oh, I don't know. We're like, we don't know. We're busy. And I was just like, what if I do a launch party down in Margaret River and do like a Southbound party, give away a couple of tickets and like promote it and kind of help push promoting tickets and selling tickets for the event. And they were like, that would be awesome. But venues that wouldn't really book me because of Boston Switch that like had never heard of me, probably didn't trust me to play or anything like that. But then when I said, hey, I'm doing a Southbound launch party, but I'm happy to be headlining it, you know. But I like gave them the launch party, and then I had the festival stoked because I was doing free promotion for them. So it was like this like leveraging both sides of it.
That's so good though, because like that's initiative, that's innovation. Like being able to just go like, well, you guys don't know what I can do to help out. I'm just gonna go do this.
Yeah,
like, stuff you guys.
And
like that's there. I'm gonna go do it for you.
Yeah, and I'll just try and do something, because I think that's the thing. I was like understanding that heaps of people can DJ and they can book anyone to DJ, but then like selling tickets is what they actually need to do to run that event. So if you can help doing that and at the same time get to play a DJ set, then that's like it's a win-win sort of thing.
That's so good though.
But yeah, it was funny. Like I didn't even realize I was doing it until afterwards, and then it started. And then obviously when the festival come around, you'd always book you as a local because you'd done so much. It'd be like sold tickets, some of these launch parties, but it was my way to get into these venues that would never book me unless like it was something bigger and better, you know. And people in town, like I remember they wouldn't go see me at a gig, but they'd go to a Southbound launch party. And if I happened to be the one playing, then they kind of associated you with that as well. So
it can be like that though as well, right? Where it's like, you know, trying to get your mates down for a local gig, but then it's like if you put a name on it, then it's like, oh damn, like he's playing at that, we got to go now.
Yeah, it gives you some credibility, hey.
Yeah,
which is that's kind of how it all started, and then I kind of did that with every other festival I could find, and because that'd all kind of be different times of the year. Like you probably remember like the Stereosonic and the Future and all that sort of stuff.
Big
like
Day Out and the whole lot of stuff.
So they kind of all rotated, so I could kind of take the same formula and kind of do it regionally as well. And I kind of realized that when I was trying to get gigs in Perth, there was so many DJs in Perth, so many bigger, better DJs. Like it was really hard to get into that, but no one was going to Margaret River or Busselton or Bunbury or Geraldton, so that you like didn't have any competition. So I was like, okay, this is going to be way easier. You know, I'm not trying to get a gig off the same weekend that like say someone like way bigger than me is going for as well.
But that's what I was saying before. It's like it's innovations, being able to go like, well, there's no one's doing it down south. I'm gonna make that market down south, and I'm gonna get in there before anyone else gets in there. And then you did, and you made it work. Like,
and it was really lucky in a way. Like it was probably a lot of timing and everything like that. But and I guess like it's hard as well. Like I remember times we'd do runs where we'd do like Claremont on Thursday, we'd do Busselton Friday, Geraldton Saturday, then Botanica on a Sunday, you know.
Really?
And it was just like wake up, literally just fall in the van. We'd all just jump in the van and just start driving at 8 o'clock in the morning and literally rock up so hungover still, and then just like eat a steak and just get ready to start playing again, you know. Like
in Busso, was that the Esplanade? Like, the good old Nard.
Yeah. It's sad when those venues have like
because what's happened with that now? Because I haven't been to Busso in a while.
I think it got renovated, and then I think it's more of a dinner crowd sort of thing now. But
have you seen the new bar that they've got on the beachfront? It's like they've got a brewery or something now, just in front of the jetty.
There's some really cool stuff happening down south now.
Yeah, it's developing, which is good. Like it's making moves. They're also building apartments like Hilton Hotel or Carillion or something or whatever it's called, where you know where Yoganut Park used to be, where the steamroller park and stuff, next to the right hand side of the jetty. Big kids playground. Building apartments there and stuff now.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so
they've had that Drop Festival down that way as well.
Drop Festival.
So that's actually a big festival that goes on during the Margaret River Pro, and it's like they do it like all over. I think they follow the comp all over the country as well. And they've been booking like big names for it as well. So they've kind of been cleaning up off that.
It's not too bad. So I got to say as well, so like after you did all that, and then like the first 5 festivals, what were they? So they were like, you got, I think, were they main stage or like side stage or what gigs were they?
Local stages. I got one main stage was a Future Music, like a few years down. And that was actually I was playing before Kaiser.
Really?
And their flight was late, so then they asked me if I could keep playing, but everyone rocked up for their set. Yeah. And I got like this main stage set with like a packed crowd. But it was so lucky that their flight was late, because then I got to kind of get going.
Still like main stage Future music. That's amazing. That's amazing.
It was a surreal experience. Like all the artists on that stage were like internationals, and I was like,
it was like fanboying a little bit. Like, oh my god,
it was really like intense. How you like you don't know what to say or where to be or what to do. But the first one was Southbound Coconut Club, and because that was when I played with Leroy, who like he was the one that I did the house party for, and he was like introduced me to Frankie and created a ton of opportunities for me and stuff like that. And he did like electronic drums for that set. But I think it was like a Southbound, would have been a Future Music, a Stereosonic. What other ones were there then?
Like Groovin The Moo
Would have been maybe a Groovin The Moo. Yeah. And I think we did a Summer Days, maybe.
Yeah, that was like that's not around anymore, but that was around for a while, right?
Yeah,
because it's same similar thing with like Big Day Out's
Good
gone.
Vibes was another one.
Good Vibes. There was like Park Life as well, I think.
Yeah.
Because like Listen Out's still around and stuff like that, but it's like festivals just come and go. They change their names and change the whole thing, and yeah, and it's interesting the way we're going. Like, the way everything's happening.
Well, Groovin The Moo is probably the longest lasting one, almost. Now, I think. So.
Well, that's it, because Southbound doesn't happen anymore. I'm pretty sure.
No, that was so sad. I don't know if the fires.
Yeah, it was the fires. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because that could it was so unexpected, and who knew those fires were going to block off the road and stuff. But
that's the crazy thing, even with like COVID and stuff now as well. Like you see all these festivals, they spend so much money before they even open their gates, and now like random things like fires or like a pandemic or something.
Yeah, or if it rains or anything could happen.
Yeah, and it like literally can just like it's just like everyone's just like too bad, and they just kind of
just have to cop it, but then it's not fair on them though, to an extent.
And like you look at it like, I guess for us like DJs and stuff, like to be a part of them, I guess it makes you appreciate how much
time and effort goes actually into them and everything. I was gonna say as well, like, so after like doing the Limelight and everything like that, did you kind of like, I ask a lot of my guests where it's like, when you go on stage, do you ever get like nervous or anxious or anything like that? You just like go up and just like, I'm gonna kill it tonight, kind of thing. Like,
still to this day, still to this day, I feel super nervous. Last night, I felt nervous for like an industry night, and I had all my set planned, everything, and but it's played good and stuff. Like I didn't mess up at the beginning or anything like that, and it's still nervous, but I think that's the exciting bit. Remember, my parents said that to me, though. They're like, as soon as you stop feeling nervous, you probably need a new job. Hey?
That's exactly it. Like, it's one of those things where, like, if you go up there and you're like, oh shit, and then you do a good job, you're like, that was good. Like, you feel so much better after you finish, right?
Yeah, and I think the nerves come from your, like, not maybe your nerves when I first started would be like, don't mess up, but now my nerves are like, I know that I could make this like here. I could make sure everyone has an amazing time. But if it's just like okay, you kind of like hard on yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Bummed,
it's just mediocre. Yeah, because similar thing with my sets as well. Like whenever I go and play, and it's like even if there's so for example, if I go and play at a restaurant or something or a bar, and it's like the place is full, but then it's like full at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then 7 o'clock, and then everyone starts leaving.
It hurts your soul.
Yeah, you're just like, is it the music I'm playing? Is it what I'm doing? Am I dancing enough? Like, am I, come on, come back, come sit down, come party.
It's like when people like rude or say rude requests or something like that, you're like, you don't know how sensitive us DJs are. We're actually very passionate about this.
That's exactly it.
Kind of rattle you, hey? But it's funny how, like you said, and I feel like even more so those smaller events and or just small times you're playing music, it's like even harder as well because it's like you really want to like, I guess, it's easier when it's a bigger crowd and big production stuff, but when it's like a real intimate environment, you really got to know where to go and where to take them, and
but that's part of it as well. That's what sucks. I 100% agree with that, because when you go and play to a crowd of like 1,000 people, then it's like, you can have 500 people, 600 people liking it, but then if the 400 300 people are just like, oh yeah, next song or whatever, it's like it's still that vibes there, but then if you've only got 30 people or 40 people, and then like a few aren't vibing it, it's like it's contagious kind of thing.
But that was like,
it's not good. But
that was like Bryn's gig last night, the Insomnia Ball. Like as soon as I got on stage, I was just like, awesome lighting and a lighting dude. And I was just like, I'm already having fun. Like I'm just already psyched on this, because like, say if it's the busiest set you ever have in your life, or if it's not, it's like your production's there, so everyone that is there is going to go crazy, and like, and it was sick, because it was like, as soon as you can tell they backed it, and so as soon as it started filling up, it was like, oh, this is awesome, and I've got these extra elements like kind of back you up in a way, sort of thing.
And to provide that atmosphere, that whole like experience kind of thing. I gotta say though as well, it's like, I say this to a lot of my guests, and I say this to like, you know, anyone that's like just breaking out into the industry. It's like, if you get up there and you have fun, they're going to have fun.
Tenfold.
It's all like, it's, you know, feeding off the DJ kind of thing. Like, don't you think where it's like, you know, when you get up there, if you're just going to stand there and press buttons, then it's just boring.
Yeah.
But if you get up there and you're just like walking up in front of the crowd and pouring beer in people's mouths and stuff like that, you provide that party.
Yeah.
And then it gives it so much extra oomph, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, before I even had any music production, that's what a lot of our gigs we did, regional ones, it was like we had the CO2 cannons, and I'd literally go to like Bach before every gig, and I'd be like renting these CO2 cannons, this like liquid CO2, strapping them into the van, taking CO2 cannons down. We'd have like toilet paper guns, like
toilet paper guns as well.
Yeah,
that would have been sick.
So Shane got these leaf blowers and then got like a paint roller and like duct tape them together,
that's
and then
awesome.
just unravel toilet paper through the venue, like in the air. And it was so funny. It had nothing to do with DJing, but they were the things that people would really enjoy. So it was like, yeah, they were the moments that people would really like, kind of remember at the gigs. And I still had people come up to me like, literally like the other day, they're like, when are you going to bring the toilet paper guns back? I'm like, it's amazing that they even remember.
Well, it's like, it's not every venue does that kind of stuff.
Nah.
Perth. Like, to be honest, you're like one of the only DJs I've ever heard of actually doing that. But I've seen it in videos, and I've seen, you know, it's all around the place kind of thing. But like, Perth is so small that we don't really get that.
I remember the CO2
Damo,
cannons.
can you shut the door if that's right? Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's all right. I remember the CO2 cannons. Like, for a while, everyone had one as well, and they created such an awesome atmosphere as well. Hey, but it's like, yeah, just something like a little bit extra, you know, and like that's like what you said though, like even your personality on stage, like. After doing that, one of my good friends, Ash Pluggy, who I do a lot of music production with and stuff, and he came over to like Greece and stuff with us, but he didn't even know how to DJ at the beginning, and he'd just come to my gigs and just hang out and just every now and then jump on the mic or something. But then what he didn't have in the DJing, the mixing ability, he'd like make up for in just like vibe and like interaction.
Yeah.
And I noticed that I was like so enveloped into like mixing sometimes that he almost like kind of trained me to be like, stop, like do less kind of like mixing, a bit more like interaction, and then I kind of taught him how to like mix, and then eventually he became like really good at DJing. But
that's so good though, you're helping each other out. Like.
And if he came from a background of DJing, he probably wouldn't have been as good at crowd interaction, and that's where like he jumps on stage and he just starts jumping around and enjoying himself and like having fun. And that was just such a like, it was like an eye opener for me. Like I was like, if he didn't come from this background, like it wouldn't have worked. And I was like, anyone can learn how to beat match, you know, but interaction is like another whole different thing as well.
100%.
Yeah,
because you have to. It's like I say this about venues and stuff like that as well, where it's like, you know, when you walk into a venue, what are the things you should notice? It's like, what are the people like? You know, are they nice people? Are they all turbos and wankers and this and that? Or it's like, you know, what's the music like? Can you get down and groove to it?
Yeah.
Like, what's the lighting like, and what's the whole venue looking like, kind of thing? Is it a pretty venue? Is it falling apart? And then, you know, what are the drinks like, and like the whole entire, just
the feel,
the
atmosphere.
vibe, the atmosphere,
Yeah.
exactly, like the atmosphere. Because like, if you, as I said, if you just go into a venue and the DJ's just standing there and it's just boring, and people are dancing, eventually that vibe wears off.
Yeah.
But if you go in there and, as you said, CO2 cannons going off, toilet paper getting shot to the crowd, someone crowd surfing, you're like, damn, where the hell am I? This is great. Like,
or even like on a smaller scale as well, like even for especially say like young and up and coming DJs are firstly getting into it, like you don't even need to have all that. You can just smile, man.
That's it.
Someone walks in,
That's
just
it.
smile at someone, and just be happy. Give someone a thumbs up, give someone a high five. Like that, they're there to party, and they've worked all week to be there for those 3 hours. Like you've like, it doesn't take much at all, hey? And it's just like, it can just be that small little bit, and it can make someone's whole night, you know?
Well, it's also what they say as well. It's like, if you give someone a great night out, they're more than likely going to return.
Yeah.
But if you give someone a bad night out, then they'll probably just never come back.
Yeah.
Because then they'll walk past me like, oh, I had a shit time in there. No, I don't like that place. Yeah. But then it's like, oh no, the DJ gave me a high five and poured beer in my mouth. And it's like, no, that place is sick. It's just like it's like providing the experience and providing the memories kind of thing. Yeah. Because like, you know, unless you kind of provide, that's what people don't really realize with the DJing as well. It's like, being able to create memories and be able to create that atmosphere, it's such a big thing than just being able to play the right music kind of thing. It's you have to be involved. And so many like new DJs like go into it and it's just like, you know, as long as I get my mixing, as you said, like, you know, beat matching skill knuckled down, then it's like, I'll be good. I'll be great. But it's there's so much more involved.
Well,
sorry, mate. Sorry to interrupt. But do you think that's why you get so nervous? Is because the worst thing you can do is not provide a good night, so you just get in your head going, I'm not entertaining enough, I'm not this and that. Do you think that's where it comes from?
I think so. I think there's a feeling where you can tell if you've got them or you don't. You know, you can feel if there's the hooks in, and then sometimes you can get a bit crazy and go a bit heavier, or you can go funny, or, you know, but if you can feel when you don't have it. And like, I always try and get that. Like the first few songs will be something that I know is going to go like, got them. And then once they trust you, you can kind of go wherever you want. But I know that feeling when you don't have that crowd and, you know, you're like...
And you got to try and work to try and, as you said, like hook, line, sinker them. You got to capture them kind of thing. Because once
you do, you can go anywhere you want. But it's just like, that's the nervous bit. You're like, what if I don't get them, you know? Like, and that's... and
But then that can be like opening sets in a way. That can be hell worrying. And like, you know, I would face that as well. It's like, you know, when people start rocking up, it's like, oh shit. Yeah. All right, they've just walked through the venue. Come here, come party.
Yeah.
You're just like, what can I play to get them going? Like,
opening sets are the hardest, hey? Like, it's...
Because you set the precedence for the whole night to an extent. Like,
and if you go too hard, then there's nowhere left to go for like whoever's on after sort of thing. So it's like, I think that's really important, playing with like people that can build a night. And it's hard because ideally you don't want to play any of the relevant music, and you've still got to get them going and get them warmed up, sort of thing. So,
because you can't play the headliner's music in a way, and you can't play stuff that the headliner might play as well. Like, you got to leave that all to them. So it's the last part of the night's the best part. But I feel
like the Perth DJ scene is like really positive and really tight now as well. Like, you can rock up anywhere, and if you're playing before or after someone, heaps of people are like really respectful, and even if they're going hard, they'll bring it back down before you jump on. And like, it's cool how everyone's trying to do that and have this like mutual respect thing. It's like, it's really,
that's
really
the way
cool.
It should be though. It should
100%.
be just like everyone helping each other.
Yeah.
Because like we had Bryn on yesterday, and he was saying, you know, where some places it can be quite cliquey.
Yeah.
But that's only just because like, you know, certain friend groups and certain social circles and the way things are. Yeah. But then most of the time, you know, like when I used to go to Capital all the time, everyone's just there to have a good time.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. I mean, sure, security would be like, get off stage. Be like, all right, well, now let's just go down to the VIP room and have a few beers and catch up. Like, but it's just, it's providing that whole thing. It's providing the service to an extent.
Yeah. And that's it. And it's kind of nice because, you know, sometimes you'll get caught, or like you'll need to run to the toilet, or like literally last night, I undid my headphone case and a USB flew out, and it's like an old USB that I don't have the record box for. So it's all these songs that like I don't even know what they are, but I play them all the time. And I'm just freaking out. I'm like, I need this USB. I'm like scampering around the stage a lot, and I'm meant to start. And then Three Stripes is playing before me, and he's just like, dude, just take your time, find it. I'll keep playing till you get it. And I was just like, and I was like, okay, cool. And it fell into the middle of the sub. It bounced up and landed on like a sub in the shelf, and I was just like, literally would have never found it unless I like calmed down. Like, it was like hidden.
But that's so good that, you know, Three Stripes, shout out to you. Like,
man.
Just being able to like, nah, bro, don't worry about it. You're good. I got more music.
It's just like, take your time. It's not like, I'm finished now, you're starting.
That's it,
It's just like, man, it's all sweet. Just
see, I haven't personally experienced that, but I've seen that before at Capital, where it's like, you know, a new DJ's like, I've only got 40 songs, and I played 38 of those songs. It's like, no, you got to go on soon because I'm going to run out of music. But then it's like, that's all on them to an extent of not being prepared in a way.
And that's just experience, I guess. How you kind of like, I'm sure I've had heaps of scenarios like that. Hey, losing USBs or something.
But it's just, you know, it's part of the job. It's part of the fun. It's part of having.
I caught up with Brandon doing the Institute, and they were kind of like doing little interviews for like, because they're like training up DJs and new things. And I remember having that conversation with him as well, and it was saying how like, don't try and like do too much too bigger stuff too early on, like all the house parties where everything goes wrong, where someone kicks power out, and where someone like or puts drinks near the decks or whatever,
Yeah,
or
or
just
a
like stuff
speaker
like
gets
that.
blown or something like that.
Yeah, like they're like, that's your apprenticeship where you're like learning how to like problem solve on the thing and not let a party like fully die out, you know? Like, yeah, or like a fight breaks out, you got to know how to like handle those situations,
Yeah,
sort of
exactly.
thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I've had that happen before. And it's like you just have to cut the music and be like, sort that out.
Yeah,
someone get in there.
play like Justin Bieber or something and try and fight to this, boys.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Play Baby and it's like, there you go, babies.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then like you've toured as well. So like you've like done Greece and like where else have you played and everything? Like,
Yeah, so...
like, I did write it up, but yeah, go on.
So
Sorry.
I might actually take a jumper off it.
Yeah. It's a bit warm in here.
But
I cut it to Alex, so they're not they're gonna pay extra to see you take a jumper off.
awesome. Yeah. Didn't know I had that value.
That's it. So yeah, whereabouts have you been? Like, what have you done? Because it says like, you know, you go and teach surfing over in the Mentawai Islands.
Yeah, Mentawai Islands. So
yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Like, how did you branch off into that?
So that was, I had a. Oh, I keep knocking that.
It's all good.
How it was like so pretty much when I was about 20 or 21.
How old are you now as well?
I'm 30.
Oh, no way.
So-
I mean, I'm 28, so
Yeah.
I'm not far behind.
I feel 30 as well. Hey?
Bro, you look good for 30, man.
Yeah, you
Gotta
look
say
good.
that much.
I don't feel that good. Like alcohol has its like, it definitely comes at a cost now. I definitely enjoy every drink I have because I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna like pay for it now.
Yeah.
But that's probably a good thing.
We'll get back
Holds
to that later,
Yeah.
definitely, because I've been doing the same. Like being able to drink early, and now it's just like,
Yeah.
I can't drink more than 10 drinks. Or
Yeah.
I'll really feel it for
Yeah.
the next 3 days.
Yeah. But it's good. It holds you more accountable, I think.
Yeah,
hey?
exactly.
It's like-
Yeah, makes you a bit more responsible.
Yeah. Well, that's why I really loved going out to Sumatra because I met a friend and I was surfing with a friend and heard that his cousin was saying that her boyfriend at the time was surf guiding out there and they were actually looking for another surf guide. And coming like doing all those festivals and stuff and launch parties, like trying to be as relevant as you possible, like for as long as you can. And then I found that when you trying to get people to come to these events in winter, it just didn't really appeal to people as much. And kind of the events kind of died off. And I was like, okay, this is just, I'm kind of trying to like do something that doesn't appeal to people. So like almost like leaving and then coming back, create a little bit more demand sort of thing and a little bit more exclusivity. Cause it's like, if you're at the same place every weekend, it's not like, but if you're there once every like 2-3 months, people are like, oh, I don't want to miss out because it's 3 months before I get to see that again, you know?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
trying to like space it out. So when I got the opportunity to go over there, I was like, this sounds awesome. I've got no restrictions with work and stuff. I can go over. So I went over for 3 months the first time and it was amazing. And I spent a month of just like no alcohol and I'd do that every year. And that was like a really good cleanse and I'd be like,
It would be. You probably feel so amazing after the first month, right?
yeah.
Just not touching a single drop. And
Yeah.
just being like, yeah, I'm healthy now.
And I'd just come from like clubs and like
yeah, late
gigs
nights and partying.
and like you're free alcohol, you're in awesome clubs, you're performing, and then you go over to like Indonesia, there's no nightlife there and stuff like that. So you're like, I don't need to, like I've had really good nightlife, I don't need to just drink for like no reason sort of thing. So
I've had enough of a nightlife. I need a quiet life.
yeah, definitely. And then so that was like, and that just became like a part of my routine, sort of just going there, and it was awesome. Like, and I'm like basically surf guiding at a resort, and it's called Pit Stop Hill, and it's a really nice resort, like a really premium one, and it gets 10 guests every 10 days, and there's like a couple of managers, the owners, and then myself and then another surf guide, who the other guide would usually be a surf photographer.
Yeah.
And so like you're literally just up at 6 a.m, checking the conditions, and then we just take guests wherever they want to surf. Like, do you guys want to surf lefts or rights? Or
Really?
do you want to charge, or do you want to surf like fun mellow waves? And I'll literally just get the boats ready with the boat drivers, and then we'll just jump in the boat, we'll take them surfing, and I'll just like anchor the boat up, jump out of the boat, surf with the guests.
That's
when
so
they've had
cool.
enough, come back, we go have lunch, and then we go, okay, you guys, let's go surfing again. And
That's living the dream.
Yeah.
honestly. Like, that's
Yeah.
the dream.
and you're living in like it's an island, so there's like every wind direction is like offshore, it's certain breaks, like it's crystal clear, like So you can drop the anchor at like 12 meters and watch it hit the bottom.
Really?
It's like, yeah,
That's so good.
it's like pretty close to the equator. So it's just like really like kind of crazy weather, like really like little storms, but then it'll clear up and it's awesome environment.
Is it really humid as well? Because it's like,
yeah. So I think that's like, so like you just naturally get fit there anyway, and it's so humid and it's like you're just climbing up and down stairs, surfing all day, in and out of boats. Like it's like
that's so good. Like,
yeah,
literally you come back and you like put on a beer gut, then you go back over there and you lose it.
Yeah,
it's like the cycle.
And it was so good to go there right before summer because you come into like this time of year, like the silly season starts, you're like as fit as you can be, and you like kind of got that to start with.
That's it, yeah.
Before
all the girls are frothing over you, and then by the end of it as well, he's put on a little bit of weight, and you bugger off, and then you take photos of you surfing.
Yeah.
And come back and be like, yeah, look at me.
It was good. It was a good like shedding moment almost.
Yeah.
So.
And so how long were you doing that for? Like almost every year, or?
So this is literally COVID this year is the first year I've not gone back. And
really?
I'm like, yeah, because I can't. I was meant to be there. I'd be there right now actually if it wasn't for like the flight restrictions. So
and then with that, like, how many years have you done it so far? Like 3, 4, or?
I think I was 20. Maybe it's either like I don't know if it's 10. Maybe it's 9. Maybe I was 21. But it's been up there now. Hey,
that's hectic. That's so good. You've been doing it for like 9 years.
Yeah,
8 years. Like, that's awesome.
And it's cool. Like I really love the culture. I love the food. Like I can speak a bit of like Bahasa Indonesian, but when I'm there, it's gets better. But when I leave, it kind of
dwindles
fades away.
Yeah,
but
back to Australia.
Yeah, but I really love the culture, and it's funny every time you say you're over there, everyone or like people will message you like I'm in Bali. Like where are you? And like I'm like. Perth is closer to Bali than Bali is to like Sumatra. Like it's so far away. It's like so remote, and it's like a really awesome. It's like a different part of Indonesia. It's like has a total different feeling and everything.
And so, is there only 30 people on the island, like with the resort and stuff like that? Or how many?
There's a few resorts now. So, but like the resort, like if we're at our resort, like there'll be 10 guests and then maybe 10 staff, and you will feel like you're the only people on the whole island.
That's so good.
Yeah, but there's other resorts as well around the island and stuff, and it's grown a lot because they only discovered it like they only started going surfing out there. I think it was like 30, 40 years ago.
Really? So it's really new.
Yeah,
so it's like untouched in a way. Like
there's a lot more resorts popping up now, and it used to be just charter boats, but now there's a lot more. But it still works really well. Hey, and like it also makes it a little bit easier to get there and a little bit more access to stuff.
So do you still have to catch a boat there, or do they have an airport or anything like that? Or
so you fly from Perth to Malaysia, or you can go to Jakarta and then you fly into a place called Padang, and that's like and then you go to the port from there, and then you usually get like a overnight ferry up to Siberut and then come down to our island called Nyang Nyang.
No way.
Or with pit stops, you get the speedboat straight from the port, so you'll be there in like 5 hours. So
really? And like, how fast do speedboats go then? Like,
it depends on the weather as well, but it flies, and you can get there in like a good 5 hours or something like that, maybe in 4 hours. Sort of thing.
That's hectic.
Yeah, that's what's nice about surf guiding at a good resort, because you get spoiled. Like you're getting everything that the guests get.
And is that like, so you get accommodation, like food and everything paid for? Because it'd be part of the job, right?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
And you get to drink as much alcohol as you want if you wanted to. As well.
Really?
Yeah. And sometimes like towards the end of my trip, it's nice to have a few beers after surfing or something. But it's like you got to be up at 6 the next morning, and you got to be like amped to go surfing, so you don't try and drink too much. Yeah.
Can't just sit on the beach and drink Coronas all day.
Nah,
no way.
Nah.
Yeah.
But so that's been a really cool like offset to the and then like heaps of opportunities came from that as well. Like the other surf guide that I surf guided a lot with was Johnny Jungle. Johnny Barton. He actually lives in California now, but he's originally from Perth. But he's like a really like famous surf photographer, and he's like he got heaps of photos like getting run through mags, and like Stab were using a lot of his photos just for like, and like Surfline and everything, and it was really cool. I got to like hang out, surf, and like get photos with like a professional photographer. So
just like work hand in hand kind of.
Yeah, and like he got me he got like a few photos that got ran into like Tracks magazine, and then one photo in Surfing Life, one of my surf sponsors and stuff.
So you've been featured in magazines as well.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
It's thanks to Johnny. It's his photos. It's not
Yeah,
me
but
surfing.
still, though, it's like it's you in the photos, though.
Yeah.
It's still pretty cool.
Yeah, and like it's a really crazy industry. Like the ability of surfing, like kids rip now as well.
Yeah.
So like 10-year-olds can blow me out of the water. So it's like
I just looked this guy up, Johnny Jungle. These photos are amazing.
incredible. Hey,
This guy, how does this guy do it, man?
Yeah.
Like, is he a really cool dude?
yeah, and he's like and it's like it's hard, man. Like even a few times, like I'd like hold his housing in the water and you're like sinking. Like it's like you're putting yourself in like more risk than the surfers sometimes. Like you're stagnant, standing there, like like shallow cave, and they're flying past you to the channel, and you've got to like swim through and get a photo and try not get smashed into the reef and stuff. So,
Wow.
yeah,
it'd be an expensive equipment that he takes out as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you don't want to drop it. You don't want it to sink. It's all waterproof and everything as well.
yeah. But if
obviously,
that housing leaks, then it's all gone.
yeah,
and
it's
the,
over.
the thing is as well, I remember he's had like housings and stuff leak out there, and like you're in the middle, like to get to like KL or Singapore or something to go get like a replacement equipment will take you like 24 hours or 48
Yeah.
hours, like just get there, so then you got to get back as well. So it's like you're gone for a week if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Like you can't just like zip down the shop and just buy a new one.
That's it. Yeah, you're on an island in
Yeah,
Jakarta,
yeah.
in Indonesia.
It's amazing. Like everything you like, all the like a lot of the food you eat, or like every drink you have, like it's been on like 4 boats or something like that to probably
Really?
get to you, like
Do they have like much like fresh food in a way? Like they just like go out and spearfish kind of thing or anything?
yeah.
Like
So like local fishermen will come up and they'll have like a fish they got that day, and they'll be like, "Do you guys want to buy it?" And then they'll be like,
That's so
"Yeah,
cool.
we'll grab that." Or like guys will bring over like prawns or mud crabs out of the mangroves, and
That's
you
amazing.
eat like a king. Hey,
Yeah,
it's like
that sounds so
yeah.
good.
And there's like a chefs there, like or like the local Indonesian girls. So they cook like traditional like beef rendang and like all these like amazing food.
Yeah.
Hey? Like I actually really miss it.
Yeah, I can tell. Like I can tell you're a
sound
bit
like
of
it,
food.
man. Yeah,
Like, that sounds so good.
yeah.
So then, like, where else have you been then? Because like it says is it, like Croatia, Thailand, like.
So Shannon, he got a residency over in Greece in EOS, and and then he hit me up. He's like, "Man, do you want to come over and be a resident with me?" And I was just like, "Yup."
Yeah, who wouldn't turn
Yeah.
that down? Like,
Yeah.
you gotta go.
So that was really cool. So I literally had like 2 or 3 months in Sumatra, like surf guiding in the jungle, like just kind of go a bit jungle crazy by the end of it, like because you're just so isolated. And then I literally went from there to EOS for the first time, and it was like just polar opposite worlds. Hey, then I went to like full party city, and
So like, what was the population like of like EOS and stuff like that compared to like Jakarta and everything? Like,
oh
because
god,
obviously like an island of like 30 people, 50 people, but then like was it like 150?
Population of 2024.
2024 on EOS.
and so every tourist is probably there for like 3 days. So that
Really?
ferry is just like there's ferries just running off and on all day.
Okay.
And then like so everyone's there for 3 days, and they're there for 3 days. They go crazy for their 3 days, and then they get off and go to Santorini and heal. Like,
yeah, that's yeah.
yeah, and that was awesome. So got to go over there 3 years in a row. So
How long were you over there for in those 3 years?
I think I was doing like 2 months, maybe like probably. You're probably about that, and it was pretty hectic by the end of it.
Yeah,
hey?
it would be.
'Cause
If those new guests are coming in, they're like, all right, well, we want to party.
Oh.
Then you got to party, right?
Yeah.
You got to drink. You got to do
Yeah.
your thing.
And it's every day. Hey, it's
Yeah.
like it's really hard to like. As I got older, I was like really hard to maintain health, and I went straight from EOS. We had residencies through like so there'd be like a few DJs at the end would rotate between like Alt Bar, Escobar, and then the day club would be Far Out Beach Club, and the Far Out Beach Club is like a festival, and it just happens during the day. It's like CO2 cannons, like a big dome. It's just
Really?
they book like headliners there. It's like it's one of the sickest clubs I've ever played at, like a full high production club, and you'd play there during the day, and then we'd be back at like Alt Bar or Escobar that night, and they're like real cool, kind of like intimate, like it's got up in the village, and they're like everyone just bar hops through them, and they're sick. And Escobar was like a dungeony kind of club,
Yeah.
and it was like in a basement thing, like you went down these stairs, and that was like a real gritty one. And then Alt Bar was like a kind of shot bar. They had like hundreds of different shots and stuff.
Really?
So it was like
I think we talked when we had Shannon on. He actually talked about Alt Bar. and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
And it's like they just have like a whole menu dedicated to shots. I'm pretty
it's
sure.
amazing,
right?
and because it's Greece, there's like the rules are just so different. Like they can light the bar on fire and you can like toast a marshmallow, do your shot, and then eat your toasted marshmallow. And like they're just it's crazy. There's like
you can't do that here. You
there's
do
like-
that here. Like Ellie, you will be like, you're not opening next week. That's
ever.
not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, so with that, like with Greece, like, what's the culture like? What's the people like? Like, I mean, the food sounds amazing in Jakarta, but what's the food like in
Lamb like
Greece?
in Greece.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
They have a strict diet of Euroses.
Of course.
And that's it.
Yeah, just
Yeah, shout
kebabs
out-
every night.
Proper pronunciation too, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, you're pretty much just eating to heal before you go back to work that night. Hey. And like, but yeah, there's some epic food there. Like, I feel like EOS is just like, you're just repeating this like party kind of thing, and just, it's awesome experience, especially DJing like as a training ground. You're DJing every day for like months on end, sometimes like multiple venues, and like you just, it's kind of like why I've wanted, like I literally moved up to Perth now again, is just to get more gigs. It's like you're actually a way better DJ when you practice more. And I kind of went to this mentality like, oh, I don't need to practice, I know how to beat match. But like there's little things that you lose, like you kind of look down more instead of having eye contact, and like just basic stuff that you kind of, people don't notice but just feel better. But I feel like over there you just, it's good because you're playing so much. But it'd be awesome. I actually really want to go back when the world opens up again and go there and play like 2 or 3 nights a week, or like 2 nights a week would be amazing. And then you could go out to restaurants and chill and have nights off. But when you're kind of just like back to back, you just like, I just need to feel healed enough to be able to like go back and then party with these like new people that just come off the ferry, you know? So,
So then what would the sets be like as well? Because then like, would you get time to just like chill out on the beach and go for a swim and then go play your gig kind of thing? Or is it just like, as you said, like back to back, like you start now, then you get half an hour break, and then you got to go play again kind of thing?
Yeah. So far out would be like once every couple of weeks sort of thing. So you'd be there like quite like they'd make a day of it, and that'd be a big event. And then like, so the kind of schedule would be you start work, I think at Old Bar would get there for 11 and then start at midnight, and you'd go till 4.
Really?
And then Escobar would either be a 12 till 3 or a 3 till 6. And then if you went out after that, AM, and if you went out after, you'd end up at like Pash or Sweet Irish, and they're like blacked out. And by the time you like, it feels like it's nighttime, you walk out and it's pure daylight, and you're literally walking home in the daylight, and you go to bed, you like blacking out your windows so you can go to sleep. And you wake up at like 3 p.m. usually. I'd wake up at 3 if you're killing it. You'd wake up at like 1 p.m. and you'd go have like brekkie. But usually go down to Harmony, a little Mexican restaurant on the water, have a swim, you play some bocce and backgammon, have some food, maybe like a little beer to kind of like realign yourself. Then you'd go home, probably have a siesta, wake up, dinner, and then
have a siesta?
like a little nap, just to prepare for the night, like maybe an hour power nap.
Never heard that name, but that's
Wait,
pretty cool.
No,
A little
siesta. He's really getting into the Greek culture now.
I think it's a Mexican thing as well.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Mediterranean thing.
Yeah. And then by then, you'd be like back at work for like 11. Kind of go into it. And then after that, I went to the yacht week. So they were in Greece and Croatia. And that was like, you literally live on a yacht and you'll wake up sailing to the next like destination, and they'll just go and take over a bar in every little like town.
Really?
And bar or club, and
So it's just like a bunch of DJs on the yacht, and then you just kind of, or is it like
there was 2 DJs.
Okay,
yeah. And then they'd have like a few. You'd actually get a couple of probably 4 or 5 sometimes, and then you'd rotate and swap over, and sometimes the routes would split up. So you'd play certain places, they'd play certain places, then you'd meet up and then get to play with another DJ, which is cool.
So good.
Yeah, and you're like sailing around on yachts, and it's like it's a crazy experience. Like,
But then who owns the yachts? Obviously, like the bar owners or something like that, or
so the yacht week, I think they must like lease them, and then like, so people buy a package, so they'd be like, you can come on a 7-day yacht cruise sort of thing, and that'll include like you'll like kind of like rent the yacht for a week with your friends, and then they'll be like, and then I guess you can go to clubs, you can like buy bottles if you want or whatever, and they'll get their food included and everything. So, and like, one of the places we played in Croatia was called Vanilla Nightclub in split, and like literally on midnight you'd have to have a drop queue up on midnight because fireworks would literally go off at the time midnight goes off every
No
time we
way.
play. It was crazy.
That
hey?
sounds so good.
Yeah.
It's like every midnight, like every gig kind of thing. It's
Yeah,
bang.
I think we'd end up there on Fridays, so they must have done it Fridays on midnight sort of thing. It was amazing. So
That's so cool, and we can't do that here. You know, we don't have fireworks.
So
We're not
many
allowed
rules.
fireworks. Yeah. Regulations, rules, the whole lot. And they
Yeah.
say, you know, we're one of the best countries, but I mean, then you got fireworks in Greece. Like,
Yeah.
It's a completely different ball game kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's amazing what they can do over there and what the events get to do and how the experience changes when they have that as well.
So then you've played at like Croatia and stuff. Like, what about Thailand? How did that all kind of fall into it? Like,
Yeah, so that was actually one of the live musicians from Circus Bar, one of the bars in EOS, and he hit us up and he asked if we wanted to go over to Koh Tao and be residents at Fishbowl Bar. And
Okay.
that was an awesome experience as well because it was a little less party than a lot of the other residencies I've had. Like you're probably only playing 3 or 4 nights a week, so you can maintain a lot of health.
yeah, that's it. Look after yourself.
Yeah, and the island's beautiful as well. You could literally just like, I went over with Ash and Louis. So Ash, who I do a lot of music production with and DJing with, and then Lewis Martin, who pretty much found him when he was 19, and
He's that photographer guy,
yeah,
right?
so he does all my photos and videos. It's amazing, and he's been traveling all over the world with us. Like he came to Greece, came to Thailand. He did an East Coast tour. Ash and myself did a tour down for like Ash got sponsored by a camera company, and then I lined up a few gigs, and then Louis did a full webisode series on that. So
Really?
yeah, it's pretty funny. Like we've got like 2 seasons on YouTube of just like just literally us being really poor trying to do an East Coast tour. Like I think we got there, Ash lost his bank card like the day we got there, and he rocked up with a plastic bag with all his clothes in it, like as his suitcase. And Louis was just like a 19-year-old, so he just didn't have any money. And then I was getting paid by invoice, so we literally were like, we'd get paid for a show, we'd fill the car up, and we just ate like whole like chickens and like bread rolls.
Yeah, nice.
That's all we ate for
That's
like
so
literally
Aussie.
6 weeks.
That's
Like,
so Aussie.
yeah. And like the van was like, it was so funny. Like it's actually on YouTube. It's called Boston Pluggy in the Grom.
Okay.
And we did like 2 seasons of it. And it's pretty funny. You can see like the evolution of our like gigs we get and stuff like that. And like, because the first season's like all these like clubs on the East Coast, and the second one's like Greece and like Indonesia and like playing with Alice in Wonderland and stuff. But
Really, you got to play with Alice in Wonderland.
yeah. So that's in the second season, and like it's so funny because like the first one starts us just playing like little clubs, and we're like literally so poor. Like, and like I brought 4 surfboards over, and Ash brought 1, and he's like, "You're stupid! You brought too many boards, take up too much space." I'm like, "You're stupid! You're gonna break your board and have to use mine." So we're like bickering, but like just in each other's like pockets the whole time, pretty much. And like 3 guys in a van, like it looks like this epic dream trip, but like I've never lived in a messier environment. Hey, like just waking up to like pots with mee goreng cooked into them and stuff.
That sounds so good. Like, what clubs did you play on the East Coast then? And stuff?
We started at Noosa and we finished in Geelong. So
Really?
we played up in Noosa. I can't even remember half the clubs now.
How long ago
Icon.
was it as well? Like, you played at Icon as well?
Yeah, so Icon was in the back in Cooley. We ended up and then we just put out lunch grabs wherever we could along the way. We got Byron, we played as well.
That's awesome. You played in Byron Bay?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
We played Ivy in Sydney.
You played at Ivy Club as well? That's one of like the best clubs in Australia, I'm pretty sure.
But it's funny, like that was like the real fancy one, and we kind of felt really unwelcome there. And then we played Nowra, and they're like, "Be careful, Nowra's really rough." And we felt more at home there than ever. I was like, "What does that say about us?"
Local Western Australians.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was really cool. Hey, and like Louis like filmed and edited like a TV series basically for the whole thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But it's like a reference as well in a way, because it's like you can obviously go back and be like, well, we did all this, but at the same time, it's like you've got all of this stuff that you did. It's like the experience, it's the package that you can go, well,
100%.
I know what I'm doing. I've done this, I've done that, and done the whole lot.
And it's awesome to look back and just like experience it all again as well. And
memories,
and that's the thing as well. Like I'm so glad I didn't do it. Like my first song on Spotify sucks. Like, but I'll never delete it because like that's a reference, you know. Like, and so many people I see like, oh, I'm gonna delete this or clean this off. I was like, I reckon just keep everything there. Like my first promo photos are so funny, you know. Like but like it's such a good thing because it shows where you started and where you got to. Because otherwise you just keep looking up and like, oh, I'm not doing good enough. I need to achieve more. But like, you've got this like reference now. You're like,
that's it. Yeah.
Oh my god, look at what I used to do and what.
But that's the thing. That's what you need. Like 100%. So many people just go like, no, I'm going to clean up my profile and make it look more professional. But then like you lose track of where you began.
Yeah.
You lose track of where it all started
out.
And it's like, oh, well, I made all these mistakes. I did this. I did that.
Yeah.
But then you kind of go, well, I've realized and I've done this and done that to get better, and then like, you know, come out on top in a way.
Yeah. And even like mixtapes and stuff. I remember trying to like make the most perfect mixes, and then my manager would say to me, he's like, it's not perfect's bad because it doesn't sound human, you know. Like a little mistake almost makes people like ears prick up, you know, and like it brings their attention back. Like as long as it's not like
tragic or anything.
Yeah, train wrecking the whole time. Horse gallops out of time or something. But like if it's little bits off and like that's real, you know, and it's like it's human, so it's good, you know. So it's
that's
like
it,
and I'm starting to try to get through this with my music production as well. As like I can have all the music in the world sitting on a hard drive, but if no one can hear it and experience it, whether they like it or not, there's not going to be any interaction. They can't like it if they can't hear it, you know? So like 80% and done is like better than 99% and like, and never finish and never out, you know? So like, that's like, I think that's like a really good thing from the very beginning I've noticed, like not being ashamed of something that's not perfect, you know, whether it's mixes.
Honestly, that's such a good trait. That is such a good trait because
it's hard to get. Though,
that's it. There's so many people out there that just like, you know, they're just like, nah, keep pushing and pushing and pushing and just don't think about it like in a logical kind of point of view. Like,
well, I've got so many good music producer friends that just have like gold on them that just could put more out and like like, you know, and like they just all they have to do is just like take their expectations of themselves down like a touch and like things will blow up for them. Hey, you can tell because they're talented enough, but it's just like
it's just
getting out of your own way a little bit. Hey, but it's so hard to do. It's so easy to say and so hard to do.
That's it. It's and a lot of people get in their own little world to an extent. And so when they get in their own little world, then they just think, well, if I do this and do this and do this, then it's like their strategy to try and get where they want to go. But they don't have an outsider's perspective to go, well, maybe if you did this different, that would help you do that and open more doors.
100%.
Because like, you know, like for me, I always ask, you know, other people's reviews on things. Yeah. Because then you get a perspective. You literally get like their point of view of like, well, I like this because of this. Yeah. Instead of just going, well, I like it personally because I like it.
Like, you need other perspectives, hey? And like, funny you said that is like literally all this travel and all this stuff I was doing was awesome, but then I realized that music production was a missing piece, and the last 2 years I'd moved back to Margs and I just sat in my bedroom for like 10-12 hours a day watching tutorials, doing masterclasses, like, and I think it did fast track what I wanted to learn and achieve a lot, but like it got to the point of end of 2 years like of doing that, I was like, and I was playing the odd gig, but I was like out of the loop and I felt like I lost heaps of relevance and momentum, and then but it was just like I wasn't a part of the real world. I was just like in my room every day, and I was like, I thought the harder I worked, the better results I'd get. But it was like almost I've written more songs moving to Perth in the last like 3-4 weeks than I have like in 6 months down south.
That's so good you brought that up, because that's the thing as well. It's like so many, I've met quite a few people that go and do that. Like I used to live with a good mate of mine, right? And he did something similar. He went off and he studied Lab 6 and everything like that. But then what he did was he just hunkered down, started making music, and he didn't go and play any gigs or anything like that. Yeah. And then he did lose the momentum to the point where when he came out with really good tracks, he didn't know how to get it out there. Yeah. Because it's about building the brand. Like you got to cover all your bases, but focus on the things that you want to focus on in a way.
And it's also like, you got to be part of the real world as well. Like you got to be at gigs, and like last night I like Shazammed like 5-6 tracks that I'm going to pull into Ableton like this week now. And I'll be like, these are awesome. And like, I'm inspired by them, but I heard that in a club where it was like a sick DJ, played at the right time, and I was like, that's awesome, you know. But sitting in my room like 50 hours a week,
Yeah.
and I got no inspiration. It's like I'll achieve less than if I just went out and saw a cool gig, you know, or just like go down to like have a few beers at the beach with my mates or something like that, you know, and just like talk about music, you know, like you got to have fun as well. And I remember like treating it so much like a job, and I was just like, I've got to enjoy this a bit more as well, you know. But it's good to like that hunker down thing, like you kind of like got to do an apprenticeship. I've treated it like that's what I thought of it.
That's
like,
exactly it though.
Like I feel like I've finished the apprenticeship now,
Yeah.
but still so much to learn and still so much more quality to gain. But like, you know, like I was like literally, I went up to Exmouth for like a holiday. I played one show, and then I was like, okay, coming back, and I moved up to Perth straight away. I was like, if I go back down south, I'll get stuck in my little rut. Like I wouldn't even go like, I'd rarely go over to like Bergenite and see my mates and stuff. My mates wouldn't even know that I'm being Margs because I'm literally
Bergenheim is in like in Germany.
no Bergenite. Like,
I was about to say, it's like, wait a minute, it's like what? Like, there's a part we missed in this whole podcast. Like,
no. But yeah, you know, like they wouldn't even know that I'm down south, and it's like it's so antisocial, and you actually get bad at socializing. Like I got worse at communicating, you know, like, and it's kind of cool to put yourself back in the environment, and that's what like trying to like say yes to as many gigs as I can and go to as many events and do stuff like this, you know, because it's like it's really good for you like as a musician or a brand or a DJ, but also just like mentally for yourself as well. You know? So,
well, that's it, because so like what we said before, so many people do get wrapped up in their own world, and they hunker down, and then when they try and re-emerge or like the word I can't remember the word, like adapt in a way.
Yeah.
Like try and integrate.
Integrate.
Yeah, that's it. Like reintegrate into
Yeah.
society. It's like you kind of have to learn your social skills again to an extent. Like
how can I write a song that people go crazy to in a club when I don't know how to like relay that? I don't even know what that experience looks like, you know? Like I'm not sitting in a bedroom writing a song is so different from being in a club, you know, like, and watching people go crazy with CO2 and lights and stuff, you know, like you've got to be able to experience it to be able to like recreate it in a way, in some way.
You put that like, so perfectly, honestly. That is amazing what you just said, because that is it. Like
I think there's got to be a balance. Like you can't just like party.
Exactly,
like, you can't just like, I feel like I went too far into the other way, you know, and like, yeah, like even like one of my like good mates, like they actually played a gig there called Sultry, and I never pronounced his like solo name right, but it's like Askaya, and like he's insane producer, singer, vocalist, and Nath is as well, and like he's a pretty introverted guy, but he was like hitting me up like, dude, you need to get out more, you know. And I'm like, okay, you're telling me that? Like you sit down, and he sits in his studio for like weeks on end, and like and it was really funny. Like when I heard that, I was like, okay, it's I gotta wake up, and it's really cool.
Like, wait a minute, this guy's an introvert and he's telling me to get out more.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And but the thing is, he gets really good results from his music. So like he's getting like millions of streams and releasing really high quality music. So I was like, okay, he knows what he's talking about as well, you know. So there's good advice to be had there, and like I tried to take that on board sort of. So
do you find as well it's like you have to kind of find a unique sound in a way to be able to actually like make it big?
I still think I'm trying to figure that out, and like I went through like genre changes and stuff. I'm really excited on the new stuff I'm writing now, because when I play it out, it works, which is a good sign, which a lot of my other stuff didn't. Which is like,
but like,
a good sign.
Have you ever had that happen before? Where you play a track and you don't get the reaction that you kind of wanted?
Yeah, and the main thing is that familiarity. Like, perfect example, I remember playing like Peking Duck track out unreleased, and people just didn't get it, you know. But then 2 weeks later, they were requesting it and going crazy. So it's like familiarity is like one thing, but then also like I think just how do you make people familiar with it, you know, as well? And if like
it's like relevance in a way, right?
Yeah, and if you have a sound and a vibe sort of thing, like what I'm producing now is like very upbeat, like tech house and bass house. If you come to like one of my shows, it was my favorite shows, that's what I'd be playing anyway. I'd be playing like Chicken Soup and Jaws and, you know, like I'd be like, hey, that's the vibe. So now I'm producing that kind of stuff. It fits my set and it fits my show and fits my DJ sets that I want to play. So it kind of makes more sense, but I was kind of like producing like say mid tempo or like future bass, but then I wouldn't really play them. That's not how I DJ. So it was a weird kind of
just trying to make both things work at the same time, right?
Yeah, and I feel like say like you go see say like Flume live, like you're going there expecting that kind of set, so you enjoy it, you know. But yeah, it's a hard thing to find that. I still think I'm still figuring that out, but at least I'm writing stuff now, finishing it quick enough, and I'm actually enjoying it. So yeah.
I have to ask as well. So like, you wrote a really, really good. You made a really good remix, the WAP remix.
Yeah,
and that has taken Perth by storm.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, that is an amazing track. Like,
any DJ that's played that in Perth, you'd light my heart up every time you do it, because it's just like, for me to play my own stuff out is like force feeding it into people, but to other people to like download something I've produced, and like it's remixing. It's a really good way to get your name out because you're piggybacking off like Cardi B's relevancy and her name and her reputation, and whoever wrote that song with her, like probably like 10 amazing songwriters, and there's probably some crazy songwriting stuff in that, and I've just got to like rework it, but it's still, it's really nice when you get to see it. Like even my mates send me like screenshots of it like on DJ pools, and I'm like, couldn't believe to even see my name up there. You know? So
it'd be so cool. There's like a little heartfelt moment. Like, oh, look at that! It's really getting out there.
I actually got the idea from Joel from Bornsey, and he did a Cool Candy Shot remix. And I messaged him. I was just like, man, so how'd you go with that? And like, was it worth it? And like all the time you put into it, and what you're getting back off like people like downloading it and stuff. And he was like, he kind of talked me into it. He's like, yeah, man, it's a really good way to kind of get your name out there and stuff as well. And then I was like, man, WAP's going to get requested so much. And like,
it does,
it's going to get old really quick. So I was like, I really like in Tech House. Like maybe if they were like, it would just refresh it, you know, like it would just, or give people like two choices to play it out, you know. And so I was.
Well, honestly, yours is the better choice. Like it's such a better choice.
I'm glad. I could tell it would tick DJ's boxes. Hey,
yeah,
like,
100%.
Probably a bunch of girls that are upset because they request WAP and my remix comes on. And they're like, that's it. But the DJ's like, this is better for me. So.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I don't feel as bad.
Like it's WAP. Why are you so upset about it?
Yeah.
The song.
Yeah, I tried to keep it as like close to the original, but with the Tech House flavor on it anyway. So it's like doesn't take away from the vocals and stuff.
But still, the drop for it's so good. The way you built that up and everything. I'm like,
it's so funny. So the last track I released on Spotify, like Let Me Know, it's doing really well. Like compared to my other releases, like it's probably I think it got 75K today in like almost a bit over a month, but.
75K views in a month.
Yeah,
Dude, holy shit.
I'm focusing on Spotify mostly, so that's like. But it's funny like that. That took me like 3 months to write that, and then WAP remix took me 1 week.
Really?
And I'm like, I'm stupid because like I could be doing one a week, you know, like you can't. But it's like that was what is getting out of your own way sort of thing. And I remember I sent it to like. Shannon, I sent it to one of my mates, Shane. I sent it to like a few other DJs as well, and I was like, what do you think of this idea? And they're like, finish it and put it out now. Otherwise, it's going to be gone, or someone else will put a remix out or something, you know.
That's it.
And they said to me, they're like, this is going to expire. Like, you have to finish it. And I was just like, rushed it through a little bit and got it done by like literally started on a Monday, finished it on a Friday, and I think it came out on a Friday. And like, it was crazy. I was like, I can't believe I set these deadlines and then I achieved it by that deadline. But if I said, hey, I've got 2 months to finish this, it would have taken me 2 months and it wouldn't have been much better, you know? Probably could be worse. Like,
so this is amazing advice for anyone that's like just wants to break out into the industry in a way.
Yeah.
Because like that's what you should do. You should set deadlines and like ride on others' backs to an extent as well. Like Cardi B's WAP, it took the whole world by storm.
Yeah.
And it still has and probably will for the next couple of months and stuff.
Yeah.
But then it will expire.
Yeah.
And then the new thing will come out.
Yeah.
But then like have you found any other remixes of that?
I saw a Dave Guetta do a YouTube clip on it and stuff.
David Guetta.
I think it sounded like a pretty sick remix he did.
Okay, all right. I have to listen to that then.
But I
reckon yours will be better.
I haven't heard it. I haven't heard anyone other ones really played out, which is rad. So And yeah, it's an amazing feeling. Hey, like even though it's a remix, but just to see people play it out is
to
like
download it, to play it,
Yeah.
the whole lot. It's so cool.
and it's cool that I got like a good network of like DJ friends as well. Like Shannon's even played one of my like unreleased originals that comes out next month. It's called Summer Sun. And like we were at, I just went to his gig at Matter at Magnet House, and like he played my song out live, you know, at like a sick club in front of like a packed dance floor. So
And it was
like,
a good like turnout, like it seemed to vibe, kind of thing.
it wasn't like didn't stop people dancing, but it's still that thing. It was unfamiliar, you know. So
Yeah.
I think that song I have to just hopefully say Triple J want to play it, or just like
Well, give it a couple of months, and then you'll probably find you get another 80k listens on Spotify and the whole lot.
Hopefully, yeah. And that's I'm really going hard at the Spotify thing and like pitching a playlist and stuff like that. That's like the goal sort of thing. And it's easy when I've got a target, you know. It's not like I'm trying to make music and make a successful career. Like I just want to like get good results on Spotify. That's my main goal. And I just put all your eggs into one basket. And then when I get good Spotify, then I can be like, okay, what next? You know, like
then transfer that. Yeah. That's so good. That's the way you should do it, because it's like a lot of people say, like, you know, you got to build a brand, you got to be really good at graphic design, video editing, photography, the whole lot. But if you like, as you said, not like put all your eggs in one basket to an extent, like you know, like 70%, 80%.
Yeah.
But then with that, it's like you make good music, you make it work, and then the rest of it kind of just tail ends and follows it along.
And subcontracting out as well, you know, like I'm not doing my masters. Like I'm going to other people to get help with the master, because like songwriting is so hard, you know, like, and now I'm not even really doing vocal processing as much. Like I'm not going to a studio, recording with a vocalist. I'm like going to some amazing vocalists and being like, do you like this track? Do you want to collab on it? Like you can get some royalties. You're amazing and all your other stuff is awesome. Does this appeal to you? And if they say yes, then I'm like, epic. Now I know I've got a good top liner that has been doing this. Like their job is to write top lines, and they spent the last 10 years doing top lines and learning how to record vocals, and then they send you a dope vocal top line, and then I'm like, okay, all I've got to do is just like mix this in and like slight bit of mixing, like a little bit of like processing, like reverb or something like that, and then you're like, now my track's ready to kind of go, like, and then I go to someone else to help with the master, you know. But then all your energy goes into like songwriting and like building like a cool, like making sure your arrangement's super tight, and because it's so hard to compete against like the biggest producers in the world, and that's who you're competing with, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, you always are, no matter what.
Yeah.
So you're always competing against, you know, Skrillex, Tiesto, Diplo, the whole lot. Like it's how it is, how the industry is.
And you're competing against Flume, who's got like Vera Blue on a track, you know, and you're like, they're two big people, you know. So
that's it. Flume and Vera Blue.
Yeah, so if you're trying to do everything yourself and battle against that, you're like, or just at least shine through and appeal to people. Like it's not so much competition, but kind of is in a way, you know. Like
it's business to an extent.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the biggest thing about it. It's like, you know, like it's a dog eat dog world, but at the same time of it being a dog eat dog world, you got to be good about it. You got to be nice about it. You can't. No one. If you go and be an arsehole in the industry, no one's going to get you involved.
Nah.
And like you said, you got to provide the atmosphere. You got to have a good time. You got to make sure that people go, well, last time he played, it went off. We want him back. Kind of thing. Like,
well, and that's the thing. Like exactly what you said. It is a business. Like, and you forget that so easily. Like,
so many people do, and they just get wrapped up actually in the industry kind of thing.
And you're like, you know that you're providing like a service. You know, like that's what you're getting booked to do something. Like the weekend before last, I had Margaret River, and I had like the craziest experience I've ever had at a show. Week out, we'd sold like not enough tickets, and I was like freaking out. So like revved up marketing, and then like it went really good, and we pretty much hit capacity on the night. So I was stoked about that. Sitting in the green room, chilling out, just trying to amp up for my set. First time I played in my hometown in 3 years. I'm like, kind of felt like a little lost like a bit of relevance. It's a whole new demographic. Like all these kids are probably 18, 19, weren't even going to clubs when I was playing a lot of festivals and stuff. So they've never even really heard of me, but probably seen enough content to like maybe come give it a try. As I'm walking out, as I'm about to walk on stage, I see this young kid behind the decks, and I'm like, what is he doing here? You know, like I don't know what he's doing. And I went to go like get him to come off stage, and Daniel Blackout was just like, this kid's just knocked a bottle of vodka all over the decks, and then this kid fell backwards, starfish, knocked over all the lights, like
Really?
Yeah, so the kid's like, he's just like tripped over, and then he gets grabbed. I'll pull him off, and then so my decks are like, it's a controller as well, so it's not like one CDJ can be replaced. It's like I'm thinking the whole thing's gonna freeze out, and security grabbed the kid, and I was just like, but I wasn't like angry at the kid because I should have had the thing fenced off probably or something better, but it's just a really unlucky event, you know? And I've had those decks for like 6 years, and this is the first
so they were actually your personal decks?
My decks, yeah. Because
this
is an event through, like, me and my manager, like, actually ran the whole event together sort of thing.
Okay.
So it's like our equipment, like, as much as we can have, because we can have like a lighting production company there. So we had like Power Music come down from like Western Sounds, and they did all the visuals and stuff for us.
Oh, wow.
And I literally get up on stage, and then the full right-hand side is like frozen, doesn't work, can't load a song to it. And I've got one side of a controller, and I'm just like, I have no idea what to do here. Like,
what did you do? Like,
well, Ash was there. I hadn't done a gig with Ash in ages, and he literally just jumped up, and I was just like trying to get new decks. Isaac Jones, actually, who does like Get Down Club, I messaged him. He was on his way in. He drove back. He got a lift back home, got another set of decks, brought him in. We tried to plug him in, realized that the power cable was different.
Oh, really?
What are the chances, hey?
Yeah, holy shit.
And he's like just boosted it home and come back in for us. And I'm like, thank you so much, man.
And then you go to like, wait a minute. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was so unlucky.
Like, did he have like, there was still a crowd? There was still people there. Like,
full venue. Like,
just a house system on as well?
Capacity. Yeah, so we swapped over to like Spotify, and then Ash was just like, you just have to do it. You just have to do it. And I was just like, I'm just going to have to cut drop every song. So every single track. Because then I was like, I remember saying to my manager at the start of the week, I was like, I don't care what happens. I just want the show to be successful.
Yeah.
Definitely jinxed myself by saying this.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because my $2,000 decks were drowned in vodka. And it was like, and it, like, at least it was just unlucky that it was this young kid as well, you know, like he wouldn't even known what he was done, but it was just
exactly,
like, at least if I did it, if I knocked a drink on him, I'd
it's like, oh, they're my equipment, I damaged my equipment. I
did it, you know, and I'd like 6 years I've had these decks and not had one thing happen to them. And
what decks actually were they?
They were the Control, the XDJR RX, the first one.
Okay, pull that up. The RX.
Yeah.
RX1?
Yeah, RX1, yeah.
Pioneer
awesome,
RX,
awesome, like just all in one unit, USBs, like they're just, they're perfect. And then, so then literally we just get on the mic and we're just like, hey guys, like the decks are going to potentially go off and we'll lose music any second, but we're just going to play for as long as we can. I can't mix, but I'm just going to see what I can do, you know? And then Ash just literally jumped on the mic, and every single track at the end of the drop, I'd just like spin back, cut it, wind down, load up the next song, fast forward to the verse, throw the fader up.
Really?
And then while I was doing that, he'd just be like yelling at the crowd. Or just,
like, keeping the atmosphere.
Yeah. Having like power visual guys there, like that made the biggest difference, because every drop, the lighting was on point, so the visuals are amazing, and every drop went crazy. So it was like,
that's
and
good.
It looked amazing, and all these kids had the time of their life. And then at the end of the gig, a couple of young kids come up and they're just like, this is the best show we've had in months.
Oh, that's what you want.
And I'm just like, oh my God, you don't know how much anxiety I'm going through right now.
That's it.
And I'm like, thank God that was their experience, you know? And like, they don't care if I beat, match, or mix. They don't know what that is. Like, they just care about what song comes on and how much we jump around and how much fun we're having. Yeah. So I literally like remember when Ash was just like, he's just like, you just have to figure this out and make it happen. I just like grabbed vodka that I was just like, okay, just start drinking vodka. And
it's like party time.
Yeah, just have to embrace it, you know? And like, it was a successful gig, and like, I'm stoked, hey, because it was like, I was like, you can't cancel. Like, everyone's like,
everyone's there.
Yeah, everyone's already bought a ticket.
Yeah. And even if you refund the tickets, they've still, some people have got babysitters, and some people have bought pre-drinks, and they've like got a hotel room or something like that. So it's like, they're there, and you've asked them to be there. Like, do your job.
That's it. Yeah.
Do you think? Oh, your decks are broken. We don't care. Do your job.
That's it. Party.
I was gonna say, do you think, and like that kind of ties back into what you said at the beginning, looking at how being a DJ, you just get so enveloped in everything. that you kind of forget you are an entertainer.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh God, I can't do any of the technical things I've been training 10 years to do.
Yeah.
And guys come to me like, bro, that was sick. You
Yeah.
off up there.
Yeah.
Like you just like you're fucking slamming the desk down because you're like, this piece of shit's
Yeah,
not working.
yeah.
This guy's going off.
It's like, work.
But it's just so true. It's like you got to go back into like it's for them, not for you. You're not DJing to look cool or something like that. It's like it's for their experience, and that's why you're doing it, and that's why you have to figure it out, like, and yeah, they don't understand, say maybe what beat matching is, but they don't have to. Like it can make. For me, I felt like it could have, but then again, I thought it would make the experience way better because like I could have had like tight cut, like drop verse, but instead there was like a second or two where Ash would say something in the mic and I'd like spin back, fade out, or like, try and do some effect to fill that void. But in a way, it was probably more stop start. And then like I wasn't worried about mixing. I was like whole time eye contact, jumping around, high-fiving people. Like we were just partying. Like I didn't have 30 seconds of a drop where I had to actually like make sure I'm beat matched up and like swap faders, it was just like, do I know what next song I'm doing next? All right. Am I going to spin back? Yep. Like it was less stuff to do. So therefore more interaction. So it probably could have been a better gig for someone being there because it was just more fun for them,
That's so good though. The reason why is like, you're playing to the crowd. You're making sure the audience has a good time. There are so many DJs out there that is like, I've created this set and it's going to work kind of thing. It's like pre-prepared and it's like, okay, this is going to go after this and this is going to go after this. And it's like A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
And then it's like not being able to go, okay, well, something's happened.
Yeah.
Now we got to think on the fly. Like, how do we keep this vibe going?
Yeah. And I plan a set for pretty much every time I play a show, I have a set planned and I never get to stick to it. Hey?
Yeah, that's it, right?
Yeah, it's like, it's never,
it
I'd
never
love
goes
to be able to, but it just doesn't exist, hey? It's
Yeah.
like, because you're just looking at people and seeing they like that or they didn't like that. Okay, let's go the other way,
That's
It's
exactly
like,
it. Yeah. And it's like, you start playing hip hop and it's like, oh, the girls are getting up now. And it's like, maybe I should play a bit more hip hop and then go into more like drum and bass or electronic or whatever. And then just play with the vibe, play with the atmosphere.
It makes it fun then as well. Hey, it's like not so structured and rigid as well.
Exactly. It's like it's freestyling. And being able to freestyle, you're like, I'm a freestyler.
And it's the more you do it as well, the better you get at it as well. And it's like, as I was saying before, like I stopped mixing just at home and stuff. And now I'm trying to mix and I have like a thing above my decks and it's like, look up, like try to mix without even looking at the decks. Like I'd love to be able to do that fluently. So then the whole time, the more eye contact you're making, the more people you're smiling with, the more like connection you're having when they're vibing out, like the better their experience is. So I'm like literally trying to teach myself how not to even like look down.
What's that actually called? I can't remember what that's called, but that's such a good skill where it's like, it's blind learning to an extent, or
right.
when what is it when it's like you don't even have to look at it, it's touch, it's like touch typing kind of thing. But like being able to actually do that, like
it's so hard, I can't do it.
But the thing is though, is if you keep doing it eventually, like you just learn your controller back to front.
Right, it is touch in terms of keyboard touch typing. Just muscle memory.
Muscle memory, that's what I was looking for. Because then it's legit.
Soccer players do the same thing, man, where you have to basically keep an eye out and everyone coming after you. You need to have that level of skill on the ball. You can just move it without even looking down.
That's so true. Hey, like sports is like, it's perfect like comparison to it. Hey, it's like the less time you're focusing on something, the more like energy you can put into something else, it's like
And dude, you notice that with surfing, the less you just focus on every little thing, suddenly you're going with the wave.
And it's like if you're thinking about stuff, like you've just got to almost do it. You can't really have time to think about it. It's too quick.
It's like instant kind of thing. It's like just reactions and so I was gonna say we've only got like 10 minutes left because then we've been going for like an hour and a half. It's flown by. This is so good. So we usually do like a 5 random questions at the end. So I was going to say, like, first random question, would you ever shave your head?
Dude, so this is a really funny thing you've said now. Other day I did this boat party with Shannon and like there's a photo of us DJing together and my headphones are pulled over and it's like, it looks like my hair's a bit bald and I sent in the photo, I was like, bro, do it look like I'm balding? And he's just like, yeah, sad face. And I was like, that's not what friends should do. And he's like, I'm a good friend, I'm being honest with you. And I was just like, oh man. And then someone else said it to me the other day, and I was just like, but my dad is bald, and my mum's dad, like my grandpa, he was bald. So I've known this for a long time coming, and I've come to terms with it. Like, I think I've got a little bit longer, but I'm not going to hang on to it for too long. And then as soon as it's all over, it's gone.
Oh wow!
It's all off.
Well, there you go. Like infrared first.
I've had long hair for like, man.
Yeah, like a long time. Like when I first met you at Capitol and stuff like that. Yeah,
it must. Yeah, it'd be since I started DJing. I've had long hair.
Yeah, it's always been like longer than shoulder length.
Yeah, so it'd be pretty wild to have shaved head, but it's just hair, you know.
Hair's hair.
I don't want it to be like just falling out. I'm trying to hang on to this thing, you know. I've had a good run with it. Probably be less maintenance.
You're like Steven Seagal, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, like, second question: where's the best place you've ever surfed? Like your favorite surfing spot?
The resort I surf guide at, Pit Stop Hill, and the wave out the front is called Pit Stops. Like you kind of like stay at that resort to surf that wave, and like that is my favorite wave. It's like a reef break. You take off, like you like backdoor this peak. It's a reef break. You can get like a sick little tube. You come out, it goes from reef to sand, and then you can either like check turn and get another tube, or you can just do turns all the way to the beach, and then you like literally kick off on the beach, and it's like palm trees everywhere, and then we walk up the stairs to our place.
That's awesome.
And that place is that's my favorite wave in the world, and I'd say south of like Mexico, like the Salina Cruz area, there was some amazing beachy point breaks, but Mexico was like the scariest country I've ever been to. Like,
really?
Yeah, you can't drive at night. You literally get kicked out of the water all the time. You got to like bribe people to get in, then you still get kicked out. And
really,
it was really like, it's not like Indonesia, you know, like locals are like beautiful, like so friendly, and just want to be friends with you and want you to be there and experience the culture. Like I have a really like strong connection with Indonesia, I feel like more so, but I love Mexico, but it's just a different
vibe entirely kind of
just
thing.
A different it
different
just looks
world.
It's just like it's like a crazy like gritty third world country, you know, like where it's like high crime and everything, you know. You can just see that just translates differently, you know. It's like but still an amazing spot. I loved it over there, but I'd say Indo's
definitely
Indo.
And then what's your favorite place to like play at in WA? Like favorite club, favorite bar, like favorite what's the answer that first and I got another one.
I love playing all the bar pop events like Ice Cream Factory or Factory that they call it now, and Snack. Like they're pretty special. Like they're the banging festivals at the moment. I love my regional shows, and like I'm so stoked to be playing Margaret River again. But I have to say, like Geraldton, man, has stuck by me since the day I started DJing.
Really? Like the Gero Hotel and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I started playing at Breakers first, and I remember going up there like literally as like nothing to my name and having like a really good gig because I played a house party the weekend before, and then a bunch of the girls from that house party all got around the event, and then obviously because a bunch of girls came, all these guys came as well, and it was a really good first gig in Gero. And then from then on, like I've been going there for 8 years, I think, and like that's like a lot of different demographics of people that like my age friends have like grown up into doing different things and doing different stuff. Now they don't like come to one of my gigs. They probably come to hang out with me, but it's not something they'll do for them. But Geraldton's like had different generations, and every time I go up there, like we pack out the venue, and it's at the Geraldton Hotel now. So when Breakers closed down and they like reopened to something else, like Geraldton come up to us, and Jason from there was just like, okay, like you want to come do this at the beer garden? And ever since, it's just like I've just never had a venue run with me for that long and
That's
just
so
support
good,
us and look after us. And it's a big drive, especially when in Margs, it's like an 8-hour drive there and 8 hours back. So I'm like driving almost like 20 hours by the time you stop a few times and that. But it's worth it, man. Like they fully get around the gigs. They let me play heavy. They like I always play my like unreleased stuff up there and stuff. And I'd say Geraldton's a hard one to beat, you know. Like,
that's what you want though. You just want a place where it's like they look after you, and that sounds so good. For like 8 years they like looked after you. That's amazing.
And like the town comes to the gigs, you know, like they support you the gigs. Like I feel like I put a lot of effort in to get up there and get there, but they give it back as well, you know. So that's like I'm super grateful for that. Hey. It's
all right. Well, question 4. So. What was my 4th question?
It was about the Waikiki. No. It was about... They're talking before about how what's your favorite venue, and sort of what's your favorite venue to play in Perth, and you were about to say something else, and you stopped yourself.
Yeah.
I got a question.
All right, yeah, go for it. If you got a question,
So there's actually been. We were doing a little bit of research. There's actually been 3 earthquakes to that island that you've worked at.
Yeah.
Have you been in any of those? Have you actually been in? Have you been in the middle of the storm, man?
Yeah, you wake up in the middle of the night a few times to ramble and a bit of rambling. But the best thing about the resort I work at, mad plugs for pit stops as well. I was just talking it up, but they're up about like, I think it's 100 steps. We're on top of the hill, looking over the thing. So if there's a tsunami, we're like,
you're safe.
we're full tsunami proof, hey? So
that's
like,
pretty good.
Yeah, which is like,
It's like the perfect island, bro.
yeah. So like literally, that's like the best bit about like I've woken up to some pretty scary ones, and I've more woken up to crazy like tropical storms and like lightning, like literally sounds like it's like splitting giant trees in half. Like I'm a heavy sleeper, like nothing will wake me up, and I've like jumped out of bed from lightning out there.
Really?
And like being kind of like woken up by earthquakes out there and stuff like that. But
That's
yeah,
hectic.
but they're usually pretty far away, so we've never had any tsunami warnings or anything like that since I've been going there. So
Just good luck, bro. Maybe.
hopefully,
And then
Where's the Indonesians that like you so much?
so last question I want to ask: have you ever dealt with a shark or anything like that whilst you've been surfing or anything?
yeah, like
Because I'm terrified of sharks. Like, I can't. Nah.
I've probably seen like maybe 15 just through my life surfing and stuff like that. But it's different surfing because you see like a fin and then you'll go in or something like that. It's less intimidating and you kind of can't see them. I've had more scary opportunities like diving, and I remember me and a friend and I got like hassled by 2 big bronzies, like 3 meter and a 2.5 meter bronzy.
Really?
They're not known to be like as aggressive, but we like kind of bellied the water up and were asking for trouble and like, yeah, like this was like, I just couldn't believe how big it was. And what freaked me out was when we were standing on the reef, you looked down, you couldn't see it. And it was this 3 meter bronze whaler. It was like this big shark. And then I'd lay down and you'd look under the reef and it was just like this huge bus just circling us. I was actually then all the like great white attacks happened and I got over free diving. I was just like, I don't like this anymore. It's too scary. But surfing, I'm not going to quit. But then I went back up to Exmouth this year, and one of my mates, also a really good musician, Michael Triscari, he's got a new song coming out, I think actually next week. He's been living in Exmouth for 5 years. Hadn't seen him in like ages, and he had a boat and he took us out spearfishing a few times, and he was like giving me this pep talk like, you're coming diving with me because it's amazing diving and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, I kind of need you in the water. And I was like, oh, I'm a bit scared, man. Like I'm just, call me whatever you want. Like
that's it. I'll be there on the phone.
Yeah. And he's like, well, when I shoot this like Spanish mackerel, like all the sharks come in, I kind of need you there to like fend them off. And I'm like, dude, I'm not coming with you.
Yeah, no way.
And he just like kept like explaining it to me. And I think because there's so much like sea life up there and stuff like that. And like, and it's so funny, like all the girls up there and stuff are like so tough. Like I was speaking to a few of the chicks and they're like riding tiger sharks and stuff. Like, yeah, dude, it's crazy. They're all like, because a lot of the crew up there, they're all studying like marine biology and stuff. Yeah. So they just love sharks and love animals and like all the sea life and stuff and diving with whale sharks and everything. But yeah, like, so it's funny talking to them. They're like tougher than where I was, but I had a good experience. Like tricky shot, like a good 20 kilo like Spanish mackerel, and like we had some big like dusky whalers come in, and I was like literally like he just said you don't poke them, but you just hold the spear gun out in between like us and them, and then that knows to keep them away. And that was like the last shark experience I had literally a couple of months ago, and once I had that, I was kind of like, and he was chill, so I was like, okay, this is a normal thing, you know. It's not crazy. It's not like, but I think if you see a great white, that's a whole different game.
Yeah,
that's
well,
like
Damo, quickly look up how fast can a great white swim?
Oh, do we want to know?
Yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure it's like 63 k's or something like that, and the average human can only swim like 8 k's.
Say, bro,
that's how terrified I am. Dude. Like I know how fast they swim.
Yeah, we're definitely like it's their domain. Hey,
that's it.
Like,
it's their place.
You're,
it's their world.
You're not gonna beat them. Hey,
no, there's no way. I mean, you could try and punch them in the nose, but if you miss and your hand goes in their mouth, you lose an arm.
Yeah.
In short bursts, 56 kilometers per hour.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Cool. What about long bursts? Like,
I don't know, man. I don't want to know, man.
Yeah, still short
Even
bursts.
if you had your car You're still not getting away from
No
it. hey?
way. Yeah,
Well, that's like a sprint, bro.
and then
Damn.
how fast can a human swim?
That's a good question.
Yeah, like Google that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna
Just-
Google that. I'm gonna Google that. But however, have you stepped on a sea cone? You know, a sea cone?
Nah, I'm
But have you-
quite. Yeah, I'm not keen on to get involved with any of those. Hey, even
Sea
stonefish
Have
or
you guys gonna say you've
stingrays.
stepped
Or,
on anything like stonefish?
I've been pretty lucky. I've had some good surf injuries, but they're all reef related. So
Yeah.
yeah, a few
So then
stitches. in the
what's
head.
a stone? What so like stonefish and like
Yeah,
because
they're
obviously a
poisonous.
stingray.
Yeah, same sort of thing as a stingray, but stonefish I think would do a lot of damage as well. Hey,
Really? So you just step on it and then the poison will obviously just go in.
yeah, I think they've got like a spike on their head. Hey,
Ooh.
they look real creepy looking fish as well.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
then- well,
Humans have. Well, this is in miles per hour, but a human, Michael Phelps, who's breaking the world, has topped the world record in 2010 at 3 times the average human speed. It's 18 miles per hour, which is like, yes, and a
Holy
a
crap.
short fin Mako shark can swim up to 60 miles per hour in a short burst. There you go.
yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yes, it's amazing, bro. It's
If one
amazing.
wants you, it's got ya.
Yeah, that's it. You blink and then bam, you're
Yeah.
losing an arm.
Well,
Yeah.
dude, we were actually talking about this before, like a bit about like what the people are like on the islands and whatnot. Have you heard about how there's certain indigenous people, because they've been on the sea coast and they've been sea fishing for so long, they've actually developed eyesight and longer underwater breathing techniques simply because of
Just the
epigenetics.
climate and stuff.
and
Yeah.
epigenetics and being under there, so they can actually what we can see with goggles, they can see by just having their eyes open.
It's amazing. I have heard this. Hey,
Have you come across anything like that in Indonesia? Like, I mean, have you ever?
No, it's funny you say that. Like the next island, like the island that the ferry goes to, and the next island over to us on Siberut, like you see it on Johnny Jungle's Instagram. If you scroll down, that he did a trip into the mangroves, and he actually stayed with like the traditional, like I think they're called the Sikare people, and they're like traditional Mentawai people, and they literally are wearing like a loincloth made out of this tree called the sago tree. And they eat this tree, they make their clothes out of this tree, and they hunt monkeys with like poison bow and arrows. So yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and it's like they're still there like to this day, you know.
Yeah, being like tribal, prehistoric to an, well, not prehistoric, but like not technologically advanced.
There's
like,
a really cool documentary called by Chuka, who actually he stayed at the resort in the early days. It's called As Worlds Divide, and it talks about how with government coming in, separating like people from the tribes they try to make them in communities and give them education and stuff, and it's they're trying to say how good it is to be in these communities, but it's also like it shows the difference of how much happy they are just like living off the land, and like how they're kind of losing that culture. And it's an amazing documentary. I think it costs like $5 or $10, but then
it's $10.
yeah, so then that money goes towards the cause as well. So that just goes straight into like a charity, and you get to watch this amazing doco, and you get to see like these islands I'm talking about. And
that sounds really cool. We might actually have to buy that. Like,
Yeah.
if money's going to a good cause,
Yeah.
not universal, then yeah, sure.
yeah, that's it.
Maybe we
He's
should
doing
do
it
a
all
review
for
of that
free.
on Bogan Rogan.
Yeah, we could actually. Yeah. So just before we wrap everything up, I have to ask, like, so the direction that you want to go in, like, where do you want to see yourself in the next 3-5 years, kind of thing, or even next year or the year after?
Yeah.
But, excluding COVID as well, because COVID just wrote everybody off.
Yeah.
But like, what were your plans prior to COVID and now also after COVID?
I did lose a really good tour. Like I was going to play over in Newcastle and some Sydney shows and stuff.
Oh,
with
that would have
COVID
been so cool.
and Margs Pro and stuff. But I was actually just trying to do a song a month. I was trying to play heaps of gigs, and I was just like burning out. And COVID was actually really beneficial for me to like stop and reset. And I went, my friend Tom, they do Sultry, he kind of said to me, stop releasing so regularly, put a little bit more effort into one song and then focus on that. And like I released 4 songs at the start of the year, and this one song I released now has got more plays than all 4 put together, you know. So he had some really good advice from that. So COVID was actually like quite beneficial for me to just lock down, study, focus on music. And I'd like to I just want to just release a lot of music, and I want to release music that people enjoy and that I can play to gigs. And I'd love to just I don't care where I'm playing, but if I can go out and play a gig. And I actually played an unreleased track last night at the Insomnia Bowl, and like people went off, and someone come up and asked me about what it was after. Like that is insane to me, you know, like
that's so good.
to write something and release it, and then people actually like it. Like actually like it, not just say they like it or pretend they like it, like actually want it to get that
It's
song.
just a heart-warming moment,
Yeah.
right? It's like, yes, this is good.
Because I've been trying to produce for like 5 years and full time the last 2, and like so many times wanted to give up and quit, and just really hard where you just can't achieve anything. And then like someone plays your song or someone likes your song, you're like, okay, this actually feels, it's all worth it. It all pays off in the end, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for me, it's just, I'm so happy with the gigs I get to play, and I'd love to play more festivals and bigger gigs and stuff. But if that doesn't happen, like if I can play clubs and play my own music in sets and people enjoy it, like that's awesome.
That's so good, though.
Yeah.
Because like every other guest is like, most guests are just like, you know, I want to do this and do that and do this. But then it's like just being able to say, I just want to play my music and have people enjoy it. That's
Yeah.
great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
And like when people follow me on Spotify, they're like, oh, I'll follow you on Spotify. And I'm like, thank you. They're like, no, it's fine. I'm like, no, thank you. Like it actually makes a big difference. And it's like, it's a huge thing for you as well. So it's like, yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And I'm excited. I just like moved up to Perth like literally a month ago, so it feels like I'm kind of back in the scene a bit more, and just like a part of like the culture, and just seeing other producers and DJs, and a part of the nightlife a bit more now. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting. And like, man, you look at anywhere else in the world, we are literally the luckiest people like ever.
Yeah.
Like we're
so lucky with what's going on.
yeah, especially in our industry, we've got like way more opportunity than anywhere else. So yeah, even if they pull back on festivals or they change restrictions, I'm still grateful to be able to like just go play music, you know. So
And just have a good time,
yeah.
But that's it. Like that's what a lot of people get wrapped up into. It's like, you know, you have to have a 9-to-5 job. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to live by these rules and these like, you know, the mentality that you have to really succeed. Just have fun.
Yeah.
Like you've only really got like 60 years and you're like between the, because, you know, you don't really know what you're doing between the ages of like, you know, 0 and 18, 20.
Yeah.
Like it's very rare for someone 18 years old to be like, I'm going to do this and do this and do this and know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But when you hit 20, 22 or whatever, and you're like, well, I can go off and do this and do that. But then like, you know, just to be able to just take a step back and be like, I'm going to go on a big long holiday and go to Greece and just live life and, you know, just experience what's going on.
I still get to that, like even I'm turning 30 now, and like my friends that have got finished their apprenticeships and buying houses and stuff, and I'm just like all in on music, you know, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of scary because if it doesn't like become more successful, have I made a mistake? Should have I got like a backup plan or something like that? But then again, like if you do what you love, then like doing something you hate and saving up more money to go buy stuff you like or do things you like, just like cut to the chase and just do whatever you want to do in the first place.
That's
and
it,
just,
yeah.
as long as you're enjoying it, you know, and like I'm always going to love music, you know. I'll be involved with music and events in some way or another. I don't know what it will probably be, but it's like still just it's enjoyable, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say as well, like just last thing before we wrap it up, would you say it's like in the progress you've managed to like from start to where you are now, where you've managed to go and what you've managed to do, like you're really happy with the progress? Like, is there anything you would want to change or like?
I wish I started producing earlier. Like if you want to be like if you want to be like the Skrillex or Abstract or like just who the artists I really like, you know, like I thought you could do that without music production, just blindly for some reason, you know, and I thought they'd just marketing and stage presence and stuff like that, but that music production and like having a really strong Spotify or iTunes music account or something like that, you know, like for me at Spotify, like I would go see people, I'd go pay money to go see someone that I listen to on Spotify regularly, you know, so that's how their value of a brand is increased. So I wish I started producing a bit earlier so it was a little bit more natural and I'd be a little bit further ahead. But a lot of my mentors, I use Defy Society as well for production. And that's like a bunch of really good music production mentors. You can just send your songs in on Facebook Live videos. They give you feedback. Like they are so beneficial. And I'm getting to work with like producers that are in LA or Vegas and stuff that are really successful. Yeah. And like one of them like really helped me kind of like finish off the WAP remix and stuff like that, you know, and he kind of he gives you good reinforcement and constructive criticism and stuff. And Daniel even said to me as well, he's like, in a couple of years, you're really going to like have some success with your music. And I'm like, that's such a big compliment, man. Like saying like in a year or two, like, because that's what a lot of people about 7 years into production do start having some big success sort of thing. So that's like really nice to know that you do get closer, you know, because it feels like for ages you're just going backwards.
That's
you know?
it, hitting a wall to an extent sometimes.
Yeah,
and like just trying to make it work, but it's just how to make it work.
And not getting any results back. You think like, am I wasting my time? But you're not. You're still progressing forward anyway somewhere. But yeah, if anyone wants to be like an act, like a big name act, like production is the one that you've got to like. And I remember Shane was telling me about one of his mates did it. It's just like he literally just sits there in front of the computer, and when you don't want to, like you turn your phone off. And I threw it under my bed so I couldn't even get to it, you know.
Yeah. And
you just sit there with like coffee or water and falling asleep drinking coffee, just trying to watch tutorials, and then you don't even resonate with what's happening. And you have to watch it again. Like that was just because I was trying to do it so quickly. But if you did a little bit more paced and you weren't expecting to like. Can't blow up overnight, you know. Like,
that's it, yeah.
Like I'm probably I'll be getting close to like almost 10 years of this soon, you know. So it's like still a long way to go, but I'm still stoked with what's happened. But production is like a really big one, you know. I wish I started earlier, but I feel like I'm at a fun point at it now. I can write stuff now.
That's so good though, because it's like that's great advice for someone starting out.
Yeah.
You know, for all the kids that really want to get into it, and it's just like, well, just do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta. Like,
yeah. And
so
it's
the
like,
Nike brand.
And it's like, yeah, it's 100%. You just got to do it. And it's like, it's not easy. So you've actually got to love it as well. If you don't love it, it's going to be really hard. Like,
that's it.
You've got to enjoy it because you know what it's like. You get good gigs and then you get bad gigs, and the bad gigs hurt your soul.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. When you do certain things, and you're just like, why did I say yes to that?
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, but that's part of it, isn't it? So
well, that's the learning part of it. It's the learning curve in the whole thing. Being able to just realize that I'm not going to make that mistake again, or I'm not going to say yes to that again.
Yeah.
Like, I've done that now. I've experienced that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something else.
Yeah. That's it. Hey, and it's like, holding yourself accountable for it as well. Hey, it's like, yeah.
But anyway, let's wrap it up because we're like 20 minutes over.
Yeah, but before we wrap up, Chris 4 Acres says, "Love you, Blakey."
Oh,
shout out to Liquid Culture.
Yeah. That was at 6:37.
Yeah.
Shout out to Liquid Culture, Pixie and bloody Chris.
Yeah.
Good people, real good people.
Really lovely couple.
I've had some awesome nights DJing with them. Hey, down Busso and Margs and
But we had them on the podcast in like the early days, and they're just interview them. They're so full of stories.
Yeah.
Really interesting people.
And they're just like such epic power couple.
Yeah,
hey.
that's it. They're just an absolute power couple, powerhouse.
Yeah.
Good on those guys. All right, well, we got to wrap this up because we're 20 minutes over. So, this is, don't forget, like, share, and subscribe, right? Otherwise, Damo's going to yell at me later.
I am going to fucking beat him with the belt.
There you go. You get into the spirit of it.
You might get less now. I don't know. People might be more inclined to.
That's it. Facebook's going to like flag us like, well, he's said he's going to assault him.
They're gonna actually game the system to give us less likes. So that's how much they dislike us.
That's it, yeah. But this is episode 56, right?
Yeah, it is.
And so we've got one last episode before we finish up for the year, and then we come back in January. And so we're actually interviewing a guy from Montana, America.
Oh, wow.
I
That's gonna be happening at 1 a.m.
wait. At 1 a.m. No, we're not going to live stream. We're going to record it this Saturday.
That's a bit intense.
Yeah. We're going to record it this Saturday at 1 a.m. And then we're going to premiere it on Tuesday like a live video. But he's played in San Francisco. He's played in Philadelphia.
Wow.
He's played in a few shows in LA. He's also, there's a guy called Jackson Axon Brown.
And so he runs the Defy Society that I was talking about.
And so that guy that from Montana actually works for Jackson as well.
So what's his name? This guy from Montana.
What's his... His name is, once my thing decides to open,
because Jackson and Alex both they both started that Defy Society.
His name is Reza Moinas Sadat. I hope I'm saying his name right. Really cool guy. I had actually like a little bit of a conference call with him last night.
I think he's in Defy Society as well.
Yeah, that's because the way I actually met him.
Topic to discuss.
Yeah.
The way I actually met him was there was like an event on Facebook and I clicked interested on it. Yeah. And then I actually got this message, like a big angry message being like, look, like if you're not going to go to it, like it's a live stream conference call thing.
Oh,
so right. I was just clicking on interested on everything.
That's what I do for everyone's events.
That's it, right?
This will help somehow.
Yeah, somehow help. But it's also that way. It's like you can kind of see what's going through your newsfeed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he messaged me. It's like, well, it's very limited spots. Like, you know, don't click interested unless you're actually interested. And then I kind of messaged him and I was like, wait a minute, you're from America. like, do you want to come on my podcast? Legit.
I love that. Hey.
I legit was just like, well, look, you know, you can have a go at me, but you should help me out.
Yeah.
So we're going to be premiering that next week, and as I said, we're going to be talking about San Francisco, Philadelphia, like the whole
So
American,
cool, man.
the whole American electronic scene, like
Yeah,
the
and what's
dubstep.
happened over there now as
That's
well,
it with the
man.
COVID and everything.
Yeah.
Be really interesting.
Yeah.
Because he was saying it's like, you know, like there are some places that you can go out and party and stuff like that, but it's
Yeah.
nowhere near as what it used to be.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, last year, the year before, we could have festivals. There's like some states just refuse to do it now.
Crazy, hey.
Yeah, 340 million people. And the most hectic thing, right, is that Montana, it borders on Canada, and there's only 1 million people that live there. And it's like, yeah, have a look pull it up and look how big Montana actually is in Western, like, compared to Western Australia. It's like the whole, if you were to, like, cut Perth off and then, like, the whole Southwest, it's like the size of the Southwest almost, right?
Insane.
And only, like, 1 million people live there. It's like just bushland, trees and forests and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
That's crazy, man.
But he was saying it's like a 4-hour drive to like San Francisco and stuff.
Crazy.
So he just like do what you kind of did, like, you know, pack up in a van and go party down in San Fran.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be so cool to hear his perspective on the whole, especially music industry with like COVID. I think it's a total different experience.
Exactly,
I
just
got
the
friends
inside.
from the States commenting on my Instagram with like festival photos that it's like we're living in two different worlds right now. Hey,
Yeah.
like, yeah. And they used to have like kind of the best of it. I feel like, you know. So yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I hope I'm just going to be awake for it to an
Yeah,
extent because
yeah.
I've got work. I've actually got a wedding on Saturday, and then after I finish that wedding, I'm going to quickly run because the wedding finishes at 1 a.m.
No
Sprint
way.
back here, and then just like go pick up Damo, drag
Yeah.
him down here, and then turn all the lights on, get it super bright in here.
No way.
And then just try and have a conversation with this dude if I can.
I got my cousin's engagement party that afternoon tonight. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna So thank God I actually fractured my finger. So that means I'm actually on like a lot of antibiotics. So I actually am not drinking at all.
Yeah.
Which is actually the best thing.
Forcefully behaving yourself.
That's it.
Yeah, maybe God was trying to teach me something by destroying my ring finger.
Maybe God was
I
trying
love
to
that's
give you
what
a
it
sign.
takes to not drink though. You have to literally hurt yourself.
I have to be like bullied by my doctors not to.
That's it. All right, let's wrap this up.
Right, we gotta wrap
so,
this up.
This is episode 56. Holy shit! Thank you so much for coming on. The
Thank you for
time
having
flew.
us. Yeah,
like
it went
this
so
flew
fast.
by. So much information, and like
Yeah.
you got to come back on next year.
Yeah,
I want to
definitely.
talk about everything that's happened, the new music you released, and like we can showcase, and then our TV will actually be working.
Yeah.
so we can actually play it and do everything.
Well, I'd
be
even love to
actually
do a
professional.
do a combo one with one of the other guys, maybe
Do it,
Shan or something.
yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah.
that, or-
Well, that's what
I would
we
have
want
loved
to
to
do.
have had a red wine or something, but I just had such a big weekend. My body was just like,
See, for me, I'm trying to go off alcohol as well. And
Yeah.
like last week, bloody Daniel just rocks out the bowl of wine. Like, oh god, here we go.
yeah,
All right, let's go on a bender. But yeah, like,
yeah.
it was so good. So next year, because since this is like technically our second last episode,
Yeah.
we'll be getting old guests on and pairing them with new guests.
so cool.
So that way we can get like, you know, experienced veterans like yourself with kids
Oh,
that have just
cool.
come into the scene, so we can
Yeah.
discuss what it's like from a new perspective.
that'd be awesome.
And then an
hey?
old perspective.
That'd
kind
be
of thing.
cool, and then I bet you like it'll go both ways. You learn stuff for these
That's
youngins, hey, that
Yeah.
are ripping.
And it'll be more of a conversation in a way as well, because we have like, you know, the three sides of the table. And,
Yeah.
like, it'll be really good, hopefully.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, so I'm
Love to.
super excited for that.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Blake.
Thank you for having us.
Tonight's been so good.
Cool,
Like,
I'm
so
so
much
glad.
information.
It's
Just
nerve
like,
wracking coming on beforehand.
really, like you're a little bit nervous and
Yeah,
stuff.
anything like
we
this.
would never
hey?
reckon too. We would never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're always nervous. I'm always anxious about this shit.
Hey, as we said at the beginning, as my boy over here said, if you're not nervous going into it, are you really like? Are you really gonna have a good time?
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. As your parents said, yeah.
Yeah.
If I gotta find a new job.
Yeah.
All right. So this is episode 56. Next Tuesday, Montana, America. So excited. We'll see you next Tuesday.
All right, everyone waves at the camera.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Mics are off.
No, they are not.
Oh, mics not off yet.
Not off, and now they are.